Hey everybody, welcome to June. Can you believe that? It is June, 4th of July next month, and then football after that. I'm Dave McCann, Blaine Fowler. We're the Wise Guys, the largest BYU sports live stream show in the whole world, and the most watched collegiate sports live stream show on YouTube. We're excited to be here. June 1st, by the way, is also Brigham Young's birthday, 225 years ago. I think we'll probably have a quote from him later on Brigham Young's birthday. Wise Guys is presented by Brady Plus and Mountain America Credit Union. Wise Guys is distributed by the Deseret News. Look for this week's new podcast tomorrow, wherever you get your podcasts. And we always ask that you subscribe to our free email at wiseguys.com. You get highlights of the show, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty colorful. Jack does a great job on that. It comes to you free. Just hit the sign up button. And all our content, by the way, is at wiseguys.com. Everybody we've interviewed before, we're now 5 years. We're in our 5th year of this show. Everybody we've interviewed before is sitting at wiseguys.com. The stream is hopping. There's Nebraska, Ridgecrest, California, Beaumont, Texas, Drummond, Montana, Wisconsin, and on, Tooele, Utah. We'll try to give you as many shout-outs as we can. There's Orem. As we span the globe today. Blaine's going to join me in just a couple of minutes. We do have an awesome show tonight, by the way. New cornerbacks coach Lewis Walker is going to be here. And boy, did he inherit some talented guys. So we'll talk about really what might be one of the strongest areas of the football team, the cornerbacks, with the head coach. Kevin Young, his name's in the mix for the Chicago Bulls. He's on their wish list from a variety of reports. They've been talking to him. So what does that mean? Should we be nervous about that? We'll talk about it. As we say hello, there's the Navajo Nation, North Carolina on the stream, Farmington, Utah. It is so good to see all of you and have you checking in here on the Wise Guys. Also tonight, the new alumni president for BYU, Derek Miller, is going to join us live here in studio. Grew up just down the road from our undisclosed location here in Provo, and is the current president of the Salt Lake Chamber. So he's coming down from Salt Lake to get on the show, the new alumni president. They got a lot of cool things going on, and a few folks who will see the Cougars on the road. Those tailgates and Cougs Care projects are all coming to you. So we'll talk with Derek Miller tonight. Plus our BYU superfan, Russ Paulus, is in from Naperville, Illinois. We said, Russ, we can Zoom it. And he said, no, I'm gonna hit my granddaughter's first birthday and come into the show. He goes, I don't want to miss the rare invitation to come to our super secret, somewhat location here in Provo. So we'll visit with Russ and continue to encourage everybody who's a BYU super fan to go to wiseguys.com, fill out the form, and we'll bring you on the show. And we've got a bunch of guests already lined up, super fans all summer long. So we'd love to include you. Go to wiseguys.com and follow that. Farmington, Utah, in the house on the stream today as well. And our Re-Lyte Athlete of the Week is going to sound familiar. Sorry, but that student athlete just keeps amazing us all. And she's got a big week, a big 2 weeks to get ready for the national championship. So our Re-Lyte Athlete of the Week is coming up as well. Wise Guys is presented by Brady Plus. Brady Plus provides cleaning, food service, packaging equipment, dispensers and service for businesses coast to coast, including BYU, the Pentagon, and Disney World. In addition, Brady Plus has over 150 distribution facilities across the country, and a recent merger has boosted their employee numbers to over 13,000. 13,000. At the head of it all is a BYU grad, Travis Brady. You can learn more about Brady Plus at bradyplus.com. And by Mountain America Credit Union, helping folks achieve their financial dreams for over 80 years. Whether you're buying a home, planning for retirement, or managing daily expenses, Mountain America has the tools, technology, and guidance to help you succeed. There's a lot of information waiting for you at macu.com. Our Re-Lyte Athlete of the Week is presented by Redmond, the secret's in the salt. Learn what it can do for you at redmond.com. And we remind you, 2 weeks from tonight, Re-Lyte will kick off Redmond Night with the Wise Guys. That's coming up on June 15th. We'll broadcast our show live from the Redmond Heritage Farm Store on 8th North in Orem, home of Redmond, Re-Lyte, and so many other things. We have special guests lined up, including Kevin Young and the men's basketball team. They'll be there. There'll be free tacos, Re-Lyte drinks, prizes to give away. It's going to be a good time right in the parking lot. From 6 to 8 for Wise Guys, and ESPN Radio will be there all afternoon. It's our first remote show, so we just invite you to come down to the parking lot and hang out with us on Redmond Night with the Wise Guys, June 15th at the Redmond Heritage Store on 8th North in Orem. Remember, when it comes to Redmond Re-Lyte, the secret's in the salt. And there is the graphic that's out on social media, and this is floating around all over the place. You'll see it for the next few weeks. But this is the big show as we bring in Blaine Fowler, and we're excited about this event.
Yeah, if you haven't eaten, like the store's going to be open, like the restaurant and everything, right, while we're out there doing it. So you'd be out in the parking lot. If you haven't been there, we just took 2 of our kids there for dinner the other night. It is so good, and everything is farm to table there. And I was thinking there were other places in the state that were my favorite hamburger place. I had a hamburger there.
Pretty good.
Unbelievable. And they have lots of great things, all natural. They raise their own beef. They, everything that comes there is all natural and right farm to table. So come join us. This is going to be a great event. We're going to have a lot of fun out there and free tacos in the parking lot.
Our Re-Lyte products are right over your shoulder. We love our relationship with Redmond Re-Lyte, and our Re-Lyte Athlete of the Week, again, is coming up here in just a bit. Let's jump into some of the news that everybody seems to be excited about. And whenever his name is mentioned in a coaching search, it certainly draws clicks and gets our attention for sure. A lot of reports having the Chicago Bulls taking a good look at BYU head coach Kevin Young. He's said to be on their pretty long list of candidates that they're reaching out and talking to from a variety of reports. They've talked to him as they should. So how worried should Cougar fans be of Kevin Young leaving and returning to the NBA?
Yeah, it's a big question, although, have we not been here before with Kevin Young?
Yeah, and I think we're going to be here a lot with Kevin Young.
And is that not what do you not want teams and bigger programs, which there's not really a bigger program than a Big 12 program anymore. We used to say that, hey, if you're a BYU coach, wouldn't you want the Big 10, the Big 12, and these schools to be recruiting your coaches? Isn't that a compliment to how good they are? So you want that. Don't you want the NBA recruiting Kevin Young? That keeps the reputation where players say, yeah, I want to come to BYU and play there because this is an NBA level coach that's coaching at BYU. So we want all of those things, right? We just don't want him to leave.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's a great compliment to who he is and what he's got going on.
Yeah.
He's got Bruce Branch playing for Team USA right now across the world. And he's sending AJ into the number 1 pick. Yegor, a lottery pick last year. But I think they just had a kid, right? They just added to their family. This Utah County experience is what they want. It's why they are here. And I don't think I think it's great that the Bulls are calling. I'd be stunned if Kevin Young takes the Chicago Bulls job because this is the job that he wants right now. This is the job that his wife wants right now at BYU. And you know what? The NBA will always be calling.
And is the Bulls a better job than the Suns job that he didn't take? It might be better than the Nets job that he didn't take.
I don't know. Right? They're picking in the lottery.
But I don't know that that's a better job than jobs he's been considered for in the past that he's already turned down for all of the reasons that you stated. And we've talked to him behind the scenes multiple occasions about him being at BYU and why he's here. And because at this phase in his life, he wanted a better environment for his family, for his kids to be able to be part of. And you know what? Your kids can really be part of a collegiate program, especially one like BYU. Mm-hmm. You can have your kids around the program, at practice, involved in everything.
You get Sundays off.
And I'm not sure that you want your little kids growing up around an NBA program all the time, right? And so,
I can't imagine. Now it's exciting. Hey, it's Chicago. I mean, you get the kids could go to the Cubs games all year long.
True.
All summer long.
Your kids would have loved that.
They're like, hey, you should take that job. It's like, but it also includes winters.
Yeah. And so I don't know that they can make it attractive enough. I'll just say this. It is a huge compliment that he's on these lists every time they come up to how good a coach he is, the effectiveness he's had already at BYU, the reputation he brings to BYU with him from the NBA, very respected in the NBA. And I think that's the mojo he goes out and recruits with. I think anytime he's mentioned for any of these jobs, as long as he doesn't take them, is very, very good for BYU.
You bet. And it's great for the kids considering BYU, because then he can say, no, I'm staying. Let all the buzz go on.
Right.
You want to play for an NBA guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll have more basketball news coming up a bit later, but that's kind of the buzz coming out of the weekend. And let's be honest, it's exciting to spew out there. The coach is going to leave. The Bulls are coming, and you've seen it all over social media. And we'll see. All we do know is that Kevin Young's going to join us in a couple weeks.
Yep.
On Redmond Night with the Wise Guys. So, yeah. We'll keep you posted on that.
It's good stuff.
Since we were last together, the football schedule came out.
Right.
Some of the times. We're going to go over them a little bit because it's kind of exciting news. And Lewis Walker is going to join us in a few minutes, and we'll kind of get his take. Once you start seeing start times, it all becomes real.
That means it's on the very close horizon, right?
Yeah. So,
although we've got summer to get through.
Yeah, but it's June already.
For you, it's okay as long as the Cubs are good in the summer.
Yeah, and right now they haven't been great, so it's been a long summer.
But summer, we got to get through summer. Teams are in off-season workouts now, player run practices, all those kinds of things. But once we start talking about dates for games and times for games and television channels that the games are going to be on, it feels real, and we can start anticipating it. It's never too early to talk about it, right?
We already know now that September 5th at 6 o'clock local time is when the Cougars will kick off against Utah Tech, which means 4 o'clock local time in the hot summer sun we'll be doing game day.
Right. And so here's the question. Do we get that game?
I would like to think we do, but we haven't had great luck.
No, it's on ESPN Plus. There's a chance. If it's an ESPN Plus game in basketball, then you and I get it.
Yeah.
In football, we thought we would get some of these, and they talked about us. So we'll see.
We could handle it.
You and I are going to lobby for that one.
Yeah.
Right? We're going to lobby for it. So
we'll do it.
That's a season opener. Arizona is September 12th. That's going to be at 1:30 p.m. on Fox. So big national game. Fox doubleheader. It's going to be Oklahoma, Michigan, followed by BYU, Arizona. How about that?
I like that Saturday.
Yeah.
It'll be hot for Arizona. They were here in the day the last time.
Yeah.
And it'll be fun. Remember that last time was when AJ was here on his visit.
That's right.
And he ran out with the alumni flag.
Can any game for you and I ever be more uncomfortably hot than the USC game that you and I had to do a big sideline pregame show?
Remember, our set was down on the field.
Dead in the middle of the sun. We stood there, and I think I lost 7 pounds of sweat in that one.
The Cougs won in overtime, but that was brutal.
Yeah, that was a great game. They did beat USC.
That's where we were.
So maybe that's what you and I need to do to help this team. We just have to stand in the sun for a 2-hour pregame show.
We'll do it. We've done it before.
I'm willing to do it.
Colorado State is a road game on September 19th at 5:30 p.m. Mountain Time on CBS. It's the first primetime CBS game in BYU history.
That's right.
Over 1,800 games, I think, going back to 1902. Never primetime on a Saturday night on CBS. So here it'll come in their first meeting with the Rams since 2010 from the Mountain West Conference.
Yeah, and this is a long time. Remember, Colorado State goes back to the WAC and back to the Mountain West, and these are two programs that have seen each other in football, basketball, every sport over and over and over again for years and years. So this is a fun one. I'm glad to see Colorado State on the schedule. Not necessarily glad that's at Colorado State. I'd much rather have it be in Provo, but that's a good one on national television. And that's followed. The other one that's out is Iowa State. Very interested to see what Iowa State comes back with. Not only were they decimated in terms of the coaching staff, but tons of players bolted when all of that happened. They just went to Penn
State. They just left.
It's crazy what happened to Iowa State overnight. That game, October 9th, is a Friday night game. That one's 8:15 p.m. and will be on ESPN on the mothership.
That's going to require some naps.
Yeah.
Because that's a late one on the East Coast. Sorry about that. But But it'll be a Friday night. The lights are on, and the Cougs play great at night. We remind you, BYU Sports Nation Game Day, 2 hours before each game, live on BYU TV and ESPN Plus, post-game show on the BYU TV app and ESPN Plus. All the other games will be TBA. Some will be like 6 days before. The Notre Dame game still out there on October 17th.
Right.
You got to figure that's an ABC game.
It's got to be an ABC primetime game.
But we just won't know for a little bit on that one.
Yeah, and that whenever I see the 8:15 games, we talk about naps. You're talking about you and I need a nap because by the time we get done with a post game show and off the air, we're into the wee hours of the morning.
And Nixon needs a nap because he gets cranky.
He's cranky to start the game when it starts at 8:15. That's a problem.
So that's our problem. So welcome to our world. But it's exciting to see those. Again, we'll ask Lewis Walker for his take on seeing start times and what that does to the practice facility over there. A couple of notable games. Boise State is at Oregon on September 5th at 1:30 on CBS. Wisconsin's at Notre Dame September 6th. That's a Sunday night, 5:30 on NBC.
That's right.
And now Notre Dame means stuff to us every single week.
Yeah, because
they're coming.
This is before that, right?
Yeah.
So we want to scout them, and you want Notre Dame to win everything until they come to BYU and be 2 top 10 teams.
They might be number 1.
Yeah, that could be great. Lots of polls have them in that top 3 consistently. So Arkansas is at Utah. That's Lewis Walker's old team.
We got a lot of questions.
We got some questions about that for sure. So they're at Utah on September 12th. That's a fun SEC Big 12.
And Arkansas is not happy about the 8:15
No,
start.
they are not.
And they let everybody know about it, which they should never do because that's all going to come back on them
That's
day.
right. So that one's at 8:15 on ESPN. Utah State with Bronco Mendenhall, former BYU head coach, Virginia head coach. Now up at Utah State. They play September 19th. Utah State at Utah. That's a 1:30 p.m. Fox game.
That's interesting.
Another, that'll be a fun interstate rivalry game with Bronco back in the rival. It just won't quite be the same without Bronco and Kyle because that made it really edgy.
Because you were wondering if they were going to say stuff to each other.
Or say something to make the other one mad. I don't know.
So how about that day, September 19th, for Utah football, meaning teams in the state of Utah? The Aggies and Utes together on Fox.
Interstate rivalry,
and the Cougars on CBS.
Yeah, it's big time.
I don't even know if we've ever had a day like that.
A lot of notoriety and a lot of people a lot of eyeballs are going to be on the two big. Well, I shouldn't say that because I know Utah State's where all your kids went, but I was going to say the two big teams in the state, Utah and BYU. But
Utah State isn't one of them.
And you know what? I like Bronco, and I'm always rooting for those guys. So
that'll be an interesting one. I'll be pulling for the Aggies that day. I'll be honest. My kids will be. They're invested.
We'll ask Lewis Walker who he's going to root for in that one.
Yeah. We got a lot of questions for Lewis. College Football Zone on X put out their best college football games each week of the season. And they went with week 7. They went with Notre Dame at BYU. And week 7 is loaded with games.
But what have we said? That we think that week 7 game is a very good candidate to be game day that day.
Yeah.
Depending on how the two teams play. But as we look at those schedules, we're like, why not both of these teams undefeated in week 7? Right?
Makes perfect sense.
And if they're both undefeated in week 7, I think College Game Day comes to Provo for a repeat visit, and that will be the game of the day on that week 7.
Week 10 is Miami at Notre Dame. That is the same day as BYU Utah.
Yeah.
So College Football Zone has the Miami Notre Dame game as the game of the day.
I think that's the second. If BYU and Utah are both really good at that point, that's another. But there's so many other good games that day as well. So that's a hard one.
Stuart Mandel of The Athletic today calling BYU, quote, his clear Big 12 favorite.
Is this because of Sorsby's being gone from
Yeah,
Texas
ranks
Tech,
him
right?
number 8 in the country. And in his words, quote, BYU's having a moment.
Well, let's hope so.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Are we having a moment? It feels like we're having a moment.
It feels like
the last 2 years
have been the last 2 years have been Camelot for BYU sports, period, right?
Yeah.
Or you're about to have the number 1 pick in the NBA draft here. And there's been so much buzz around BYU basketball the last couple of years under Kevin Young.
The team's lost 4 games in 2 seasons.
In football, they've been in the Big 12. They tied for the regular season Big 12 championship the year before. Last year, they played the Big 12 championship game. Who can forget? Even that season before, they just humiliate Colorado in the Alamo Bowl in front of 8 million eyeballs, right? It feels like the moment's been going on for a couple of years. And then you got Akina playing great, and you got Jane Hedengren who just every time she steps on the track shatters a stadium and NCAA record. It's crazy.
It's a good time to be here.
We're in a moment right now in BYU sports. We definitely are.
Brandon Marcello of CBS Sports ranked his top 25 head coaches. Now, when these guys come out with stuff, we don't just quote everybody. We'll look and see, okay, what's he got? How many? Guys know he got 50,000 followers? Okay, then there's an opinion we want to talk about. Well, he ranked his top 25 head coaches. We're going to give you the top 10, or at least 7 of the top 10.
That's right.
Curt Cignetti of Indiana.
Makes sense. He's really good.
Kirby Smart of Georgia. Okay.
Yeah, Kirby's not bad.
Ryan Day of Ohio State. Dan Lanning, Oregon, number 4. And they're at number 5.
Yeah, Kalani Sitake at number 5.
How about that?
How about that respect? Kyle Whittingham's at number 9.
With Michigan.
Right.
And then Steve Sarkisian's 10 with Texas.
Yeah. Lots of, hey, you know what we can say? 3 of the guys on this top 10 played football at BYU.
They're alums.
There you go.
And another alum, Mike Leach, is on the ballot for the 2027 College Football Hall of Fame, the late Mike Leach. There's a 4th.
Yeah. And I'm trying, so all of these guys, let's see. So Sark, Kyle, and Kalani all play for Lavelle? They did, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Lavelle Edwards, there's a great legacy.
And Mike Leach studied Lavelle. Never played for him, but studied him as a student here.
Yeah, he should be in the Hall of Fame.
Next 4 Super Bowls, by the way, 2027 Inglewood, California, 28 Atlanta, 29 Vegas, and 2030 Nashville, Tennessee. The NFL preseason starts Thursday, August 6th. The Hall of Fame game, Panthers, Cardinals, that's 73 days away.
That's
where we're at.
Yeah, it's on the horizon. So
our first guest tonight is the new cornerbacks coach at BYU. Comes to the Cougars after 2 seasons as defensive coordinator at Monmouth. Grew up in Salt Lake City, played football at Hawaii and at Utah. He's settling here with us, and it's our pleasure to welcome Lewis Walker to the Wise Guys. We have been waiting for this moment. Got through spring ball and got through recruiting and had a chance to catch you here on a Monday night. So welcome, Coach, to the Wise Guys. What do you think of the place?
It's a beautiful setting down here. I walked in and I said, "Oh man, this is amazing right here." So
it's just a man cave, and nobody knows where it is. So don't tell anybody.
This is a good kept secret
for everyone's safety. We just keep it a hidden thing. But it's our executive producer and partner, Jack Hadley. He had this vision for just an old school locker room hangout, just a place where guys could just talk sports. Guys and gals can talk sports,
absolutely.
Right? So we have some of the great female athletes and coaches in the game here too. And a lot of great folks have been in that seat right there. We love it. Hope you feel comfortable here.
I need a man cave like this someday, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, everyone does. We were just talking about start times. And Lewis, we were wondering when the 6 o'clock start for Utah Tech is finally announced. It's ESPN Plus, but you get an actual time to the game. Does it become more real for you in your first season here?
I mean, I think the moment that I got here, everything became real. Everyone's going to be targeting for us, and for us, we just try to stay humble and hungry. But when that time came out, you're like, all right, it's nailed in. Like, we're just going to keep preparing. Our guys are going to keep preparing. We're still gelling right now as a staff and still getting this thing together. But it's exciting to know that it's not just right on the horizon here.
It's got to be fun for you to be back in the state, which you're very familiar with. Take us through the whole process, because you were at Monmouth, had previously been at North Dakota State as a corners coach, and then went for a couple years. You were actually on your way back to the nationally prominent program, right? In December, you were on your way back, and then everything changed. Yep. In just a moment, and then you're back in the state you have had so much experience with. Take us through that roller coaster of how that all went down.
I mean, I think this is the profession, you never know where you're going to end up. For myself, just speaking, just for me, is I just try to do the best job that I can do wherever I'm at. I'm where my feet are at. Pour in fully to the young men that we're trying to develop, the relationships. But you're always keeping relationships apart. But again, you never know who's watching and who's keeping tabs either. So when this opportunity came up, I got done at Monmouth. I was on my way back to North Dakota State. I'm on the road recruiting, and I'm walking into a school. My phone rings. And it's Aaron Roderick, and we have a conversation. A-Rod I know from my time up at Utah, and we had a conversation, and then the next thing you know, Kelly Papinga's calling me. And we probably had about 8-9 phone calls, and then Kalani gets on the phone with Kelly, and we just start talking, and there's just a whole bunch of things that just came through with that, and so just grateful, blessed just for the opportunity to know that guys have been tracking me and understanding they know who I am when I was a player and as a person, but I've matured so much and learned so much and try to have success in this profession, and to know that they see that and say, we think you're ready for this opportunity. Come here, come join Cougar Nation as BYU family. And it was a no-brainer for myself.
So what did you're going into a door to recruit someone to North Dakota State, and then you get the phone call. So when you went in to finish your recruiting visit, are you still recruiting for North Dakota State, or are you thinking to yourself, BYU just called me?
Yeah, at that time there was nothing on the table. It's a phone call, and there's a lot of great candidates out there that were highly sought after or wanted to be a part of this opportunity. And so like I said, I'm fully where my feet were, but not gonna lie, in the back of your head, you're sitting there saying, "Oh man, this opportunity could come about," but I got to be fully focused on at that time recruiting for North Dakota State. And so you're in there, and then once it became real after about 3-4 phone calls, then that's when I gave our head coach at NDSU the call and said, "Hey, this is what's happening." And
he understood completely, right?
Yeah.
Power for opportunity. He's going to be supportive, I would imagine.
Yeah, Tim Polisek is a great guy, and had a short time when he got announced there before I left to go be the defensive coordinator at Monmouth, and it was hard to leave it, even though it was a great opportunity, because I connected with him so well in such a short time, and then knowing what the opportunity at NDSU was. But he understood. He came from Iowa. He was at Wyoming. He's a lifelong NDSU Bison guy.
Yeah.
And so just understanding, he just said, "Listen, like, you can't pass up this opportunity if this is something that's out there."
We often hear from players that Kalani closed the deal for them. Like, what was it? This, and this? Well, when I finally met Kalani, that was it for me. Did he close it with you when you got to Kalani? Did you go, "Hey, this is pretty serious because Kalani's on the phone"?
Well, when the head coach hops on the phone, it's going one way, unless I totally botched it. So having a previous experience with him, understanding who he is, always have kept contact with him throughout the years as well. And so, the last 10 years really, and just tell him congratulations, good job, I love the way you guys are playing, and he'd answer back. And so when you have someone that can reciprocate those communications to you, and you understand the relationship is there and it's genuine, I never asked him for a job. It just came about. But yeah, when Kelly called me and then he said, "Hey, I got Kalani on the phone," a big grin came on my face. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, and you have most of our folks all around the world, I'm sure, have read and know that you have ties to Kalani from back when you were a player at Utah and Kalani was on the coaching staff. But it sounds like you've kept in contact with Kalani during this whole time since then. What was it like to play for Kalani as a coach? And then how has the relationship stayed intact over the years?
Yeah, playing for him as a coach when he was my defensive coordinator and coaching linebackers there at Utah, he is a guy, I always tell everybody, I tell families, I tell recruits, I even tell our own players when they ask me what was it like when he was kind of more involved in the coaching part of it. I tell him, he is a guy that just wants to pour into you as a young man. He wants to show you love. And that is the same way he is as a head coach. And when you can see that now from my experience of playing under him and now being here working with him thus far, is when he is the same exact person as he was as a defensive coordinator. And that's how you know that BYU has the right guy. And that's why Provo did what they did to keep him here. You could not let that guy leave this state. It's amazing. He's a tremendous human being.
So when all that was going on, you're wearing crimson. And here tonight, you're in blue from head to toe at BYU as a former Ute. What's that like?
Everyone asks me that, but I'll tell you what, everywhere I go and everyone that knows me, they say, "Hey, Lewis, you look good in blue, man." Yeah, I'm like, and I look at them, I say, yes, I do. I enjoyed my time. I had a great experience there. The opportunities, I think, making the relationships that I made, every relationship that I've made has come from the University of Utah in terms of my coaching experience, except for going out east to North Dakota State in the Midwest and then at Monmouth in New Jersey. And so everywhere else it's been a Utah connection. Time at Columbia. Mm-hmm. Joe DeRazio, who's now the GM at Utah, he was a GA at the time on offense. You don't know that he's keeping tabs on you there. And then a job opens up and they ask about a person and he brings my name up. like I said, I do it the same way as I am in coaching as it is in life, is just try to carry myself the right way, be an upstanding human being, and treat everybody with respect. And it's a great opportunity there.
Was Peter Pilling the AD at BYU or at Columbia when you were there?
At Columbia,
See, there's just all of these little ties everywhere. And for people that don't know, Peter Pilling was associate AD at BYU,
yes,
and now the athletic director at Columbia. And so you had ties to Peter when you were there. And I'm sure if anybody called Peter, he would give you a raving review with his relationship with you there at Columbia as well.
I have Peter's number in my phone still, and
keep it in there.
I text him, and he is a wonderful human being.
Yeah, I love
well.
Peter Pilling. Yep. Yeah, that's
All right,
awesome.
let's go back to a fun night. First year at Utah, 2011. 25th ranked BYU comes up to Rice Eccles. Justin Sorensen misses a potentially game-tying field goal from 51 yards out with like a second left, but the Utah fans storm the field. A 15-yard penalty gives BYU another shot. This time Riley Stevenson kicks a 36-yarder, hits the post, and falls away, and the Utes win 24-21. Where were you during all that?
Yeah, well, it was the field goal team, so I was on the sideline holding, like, oh, what is going on right now, you know? And, like, it's crazy because that whole sequence of the game was, like, wild. You got the miss, and then they storm. You got to clear them off. They get up. You're like, all right, here we go. We kind of given them this opportunity. And then you get the block, and then you're like, another penalty. You're like, holy cow. And then the doink happens, and you're like, oh, like, I think, like, my whole time at Utah, I think that's how every game came down to it, you know? Mm-hmm. I remember, what was it? Was it the Johnny Harleen scramble, throw it into the northwest end zone for, like, the big score? I'm like, man, like, every time it's been that way, and that's what you want in a rivalry, you know? The Holy War is something special.
So what will it be like now when you go back there November 9th? We were just talking about that game being one of the big games in college football that day. Back at Rice Eccles Stadium, but you'll be in blue shirt. You'll be coaching to beat the Utes for a fourth straight time, by the way. We just add that, right? What's that going to be like?
You know, like, being in the building, you know, I think that's what it's all about. And I go back again, just being where my feet are at. It doesn't matter if that is my alma mater or not. I bleed blue now. And so when we go running out, I will have to sit back and take kind of a look and say, man, like, you're back in there. But now I'm on the opposite sideline staring. And I'm like, there's so many memories in the stadium. But once we go through everything and our guys come out of the tunnel and they come out for warm-ups and that first kickoff happens, we're going for the W. There's nothing else out there.
Listen, there's so many former Utes on Kalani's staff. You can just look over to Gary or whoever and just go, hey, so, you guys all made it through this transition.
Yep.
And it's going to be an interesting night. BYU Cornerbacks coach Lewis Walker on the Wise Guys, presented by Brady Plus and Mountain America Credit Union. This is a great time to be the new corners coach at BYU when you consider Evan Johnson is on one of the corners, Trey Alexander's on the other. Let's start with Evan. How's he impressed you?
Evan is probably, out of all the guys I've ever coached, being a defensive backs coach, is the most intentional guy. And I'm saying from an individual drill carried over to 7-on-7, carried over to 11-on-11 team stuff, in the film room, like, he is so intentional what he does. And I tell guys all the time, if you want to emulate someone, just look at what he does when he's working. You can turn a practice film on, an indie film on, and then turn a game film on, and you're not going to see a different style of play in what this guy's doing. And so, but on top of that, he's an incredible human being. He's smart, and BYU and the previous staff has done a great job developing him. He was a receiver in high school that never played DB, came here, developed, and now look at him. He's the fourth-ranked corner in the country coming back to college football right now.
And it's interesting because BYU, back when you were playing, BYU's reputation was, oh, they just don't have great team speed on defense. They don't have great athletes in the secondary. But that's very different now because Evan has got blazing speed. And then let's talk about Trey on the other side. Not only does he have world-class speed for that position, but he's long and can cover big receivers. How's Trey look to you so far, and how's he developing in the offseason?
Yeah, you walk in and you see this 6'2", 6'3" kid that runs a 10.5. You're like, man, like, how are you moving like that the way that you are? And a way to go is with Trey. He is the same way. He's going to attack something full speed. Cougar Nation knows Trey. You know, he is outspoken. He's authentically himself, and that's one thing that I praise about him and all the guys in the room all the time is, like, just be authentically yourself. And if you are authentically yourself, this place is going to engulf you, and they're going to bring you in, and you're going to make relationships and create opportunities for yourself that is going to take you much further than football. But his IQ, the way that he talks about the game, the way that he approaches it, the competitive nature in him, the fire that he plays with, those are the things that go a long way. And that's what has stuck out to me, because my coaching style is full of passion and enthusiasm. So it's been great connecting with all the guys in the room.
Have the guys forgiven Trey for getting tackled at the 1 yard line against West Virginia, or is that still a thing?
No, when we were watching cut-ups and I saw that, I said the same thing. But you know what? That quarterback now, he's a runner.
Yeah.
You know, he's a runner. But
and he had the angle.
Yeah.
Yep. I said to Trey, how you get tackled by the quarterback? It's like getting tackled by the kicker if you're a returner.
Right.
When you have the kind of talent, when we just talked about two of the elite level guys, but there's also good depth at that position at nickel, a good safety group. When you have that type of secondary to start the season with, especially two corners like that, how does that change the way you can approach the game from a scheme perspective defensively?
Yeah, you know, when you have a lot of athletic guys that can go out there and do a lot of things and be versatile, I think it opens up a lot of opportunity for the play caller in Kelly Papinga, you know, and it gives him confidence to say, man, you know what, I think we have the talent, we have these guys, we have the skill set, we have enough of them to go out there and say, well, do we want to play man coverage and let our front seven just go attack and wreak havoc? Well, we can do it. Well, guess what? Now we have a zone coverage team and we have a running quarterback or something like that. We can put the speed on the field to be able to make up for that, where if the quarterback or somebody is that much faster than the linebackers, it allows you just to do so much in terms of a disguise. You can be able to flip guys and play in different positions, just changing the dial on the quarterback. So it's a luxury to have a lot of skill set guys that can go out there and do it.
That sounds like more sacks, is what that sounds like.
Our D-line will love it, I'll tell you that much.
That's for sure. Well, all we want is, we all remember this, and I don't know if you saw this because you were busy coaching. You know, I think you were at Monmouth at that point, but at halftime of the Alamo Bowl, they had live audio on the TV of Shedeur Sanders, and he was looking at the iPad, and he goes, I don't even know what they're doing out there. Like, I don't know what they're doing. I thought, wow, that's a really good position to have the quarterback. And that's the idea, right? To have the quarterback so confused he doesn't even know what he's looking at.
Yeah, when you can confuse the quarterback in that way and make him have to pat the ball, what does it do to your front seven? It allows them to feast, right? And when he does that and then he has to make errant throws, it allows us back end guys to be able to capitalize and make plays on the ball, create more turnovers, you know? And so I think that's the whole name of the game is he has the ball in his hands every play, and he's got to make a decision. And when you have to make him go through his first, second, third read and he's patting the ball, it's a good day for the defense. But again, that goes back to the scheme, you know, and that's the credit to what this defense is, going back to a Kyle Whittingham, Kalani Sitake, a Jay Hill, and now Coach Papinga is going to put his own spin on it with our staff. And so to be able to put these players in position to be successful, I think that's what you want ultimately, and let those guys go out and play fast with their hair on fire.
BYU Cornerbacks coach Lewis Walker on the Wise Guys. We're live around the world on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and wiseguys.com. We welcome everybody on the live stream and those listening on the podcast. A phenomenal interview. Let's talk about your depth. We talked about Trey and we talked about Evan, who we expect to see the first time the defense takes the field. But there's a lot of guys behind them: Jayven Williams, Jonathan Kabeya, Kenan, DeVries, Jordyn Criss. Tell us about the group that you have supporting Johnson and Alexander.
Yeah, you know, everybody knows Trey and Evan because they played a lot last year, and then you have all these guys that may have had some snaps during games, but maybe it wasn't in the meaningful snaps that everybody pays attention to. But when you talk about a guy, Jonathan Kabeya has a ton of reps at nickel under his belt, can also play corner, so a versatile guy there. Cannon had a tremendous spring. Tommy Prastis had an amazing spring. I know he's a safety, but he played nickel for us as well. So we have a lot of guys that can play in different positions. But as far as the corner room, Jordyn Criss is a young guy that is he's gonna once he catches his stride and the development continues to go and his confidence continues to rise, he's going to be a guy that we're going to be sitting here hopefully one day talking as we talk about Evan and Trey. Another couple big surprises that you're probably going to see down the road. You got Kevin Doe, a guy that was a tremendous special teams guy, and that goes a long ways when you talk about the next level at the NFL. Mm-hmm. You have Matthias Leach, another long guy that just runs and is springy and hoppy. Obviously, Jayven Williams, we got in from Mississippi State, is going to be a guy that has a lot of snaps under his belt, and he is a tremendous human being, a great leader. I don't think there's one bad thing that you can say about that young man. And we have a room full of just quality human beings. And when you have that they come with the work ethic every single day and they band together and they say, you know what? Yes, we're in the same room. Yes, we're friends, but we're still teammates and we're competitors. All it does is iron sharpens iron, and it creates more depth even though they don't have a ton of snaps under their belt. So that's the exciting thing for me. I've been blessed to walk into a room full of guys that have been in this scheme, that love BYU, that are supported here, and they just want to come work, and that's the exciting part.
Do you, when it comes to nickels, you talk about Tommy and Johnny both played a bunch of nickel over time. Do you have responsibility for the nickels, or does the Demo have it, or do you guys share that? Who's got the nickels now to coach?
Yeah, it's really a shared effort, because you have a Cannon DeVries, a Tommy Process, coming out of that room to play that. And then you have a Jonathan Kabeya that comes out of the corner room. You have Evan Johnson that can slide into the nickel that comes out of that room, And so to be able to have these guys that can go do it from both sides, it's a shared effort. But that's why when we walk out of our staff meetings, we're on the same page. We can go to our separate rooms and trust that whoever's in there is going to do it right because we're following suit and the alignment is there.
What were you most nervous about coming into a program that is 23-4 over the last 2 years with great talent? Some of the defensive guys, coaches have left, but expectation stayed, and you walk in the room as the new kid in town. What were you most nervous about?
I wouldn't say it's a nervous. I would say that it's an excitement, one, to just jump into the culture and understand what this place has been and why it's been so successful, not only the last 2 years. I know that's what everybody talks about, the 11-2 and 12-2 seasons, but you can go back to the history of it. I believe we're a top 10 in wins in the history of college football. I know in the last 50 years, I think we're ranked 8th. Or something like that. So we're a top 10 in total wins. So this program has always been special. It's always been a winning product. But coming in, I was just more excited just to learn and continue to grow. I was in a similar situation when I went to North Dakota State. They had just come off of a complete run of national championships. And I come in there and it's like, man, same thing. I'm blessed with a great room. Continue to develop the guys. It's a winning program. Does everything always go to the perfect picture? No, but we're always striving for it. And when we strive for perfection, we're going to catch greatness. And so that's where I'm at right now, and looking forward to this season and continue to build on the momentum that we have. I heard you guys in the previous set say it's something special here. And I know last year on the broadcast, the main guy, he said it, there's something special brewing in Provo. And it's not just football. And I think that's the special thing. When I go out recruiting, and I ask guys, they always ask, hey, well, do you know AJ Dybantsa? Yeah, who doesn't know that guy,
Right.
But there's so many other tremendous athletes at this place that you can't just shine a light on one thing. And I think that's why it is a special family, and that's why Cougar Nation is as strong as it is in its support.
When you're out there recruiting, not only in football, but in basketball, as you mentioned, when you have marquee players, and we think of Tyler Algier, who had 1,000 yards rushing in the NFL, and guys, Taysom Hill, who's a household name across the country, Puka Nacua, who was the best receiver in the National Football League. There's plenty of big-time names. It seems like BYU's guys in the NFL are all very visible. Fred Warner's the best defender in the league when he's healthy, right? And then you have AJ Dybantsa, and you have basketball, multiple basketball guys now that are big names that people – how does that affect recruiting? When you walk in and you're talking to a recruit, you're trying to convince them to come here, does that have an impact?
I mean, we try to make it that way. You can't really correlate. You say all these things about why AJ chose BYU when he could have gone anywhere in the country, but he knew that Coach K and his staff were going to get him ready for what he wanted to do. He knew he had 1 year to make this opportunity. He capitalized on it. That brings a branch here. So now we're sitting here and we're talking about these guys. And what I tell them, I say, you come to BYU, there's not another place in the country where your distractions are going to be eliminated the way that they are at BYU because of what the special part about BYU is. And I tell them, it's a different institution. And when you come by into this place is going to pour into you hand over fist, and you are going to be shocked at what's going to happen by the time you're done here. So try to make it special, and
seems to be working.
Winning helps too. Right?
Winning helps, but it is, and culture's part of winning for sure. So you've explained that really, really well.
So your corners, and we'll finish with this one, and then we'll hit you with 5 and get you out the door. Your corners have been dealing with Bear Bachmeier every day now in this offseason. What are you seeing out of Bear against your guys that has you optimistic for the fall on offense?
Yeah, the thing about Bear, when you watch him last year as a true freshman, you know, he's kind of going through it, and he's had a ton of success and everything. I think the thing now that when we talk to our offensive staff, and I talk to Bear a lot because I try to ask him, like, what is he seeing? How can we change the disguise? How can we do this? The guy, if you show him one shell, he is going to exploit you. And just the way that he can go through his progressions with the targets that we have and the weapons we have on the outside and in the backfield, obviously the tight end room too, is like those are things that when you surround a piece like Bear Bachmeier with the guys that he has around him, and he can be able to continue to progress and grow under the tutelage of obviously with Tyler Hughes and Aaron Roderick, like that guy is special. And the one thing that I know about him and learning about him is the humility that he has. Like, you would think a guy would be boasting by the amount of press and the amount of praise that he gets. He's almost one of the guys. You know, he doesn't want that, but he can dissect things the way that he goes through his progressions, his accuracy, is in his running ability.
Yeah, and you're not even, and you guys haven't even been allowed to tackle him, but that's not an easy task.
He's
right?
a big guy. He looks like a linebacker.
Did you see the play against Utah where he just dragged the whole defense into the end zone? That was crazy. That was one of the nastiest plays I've ever seen.
That's when there was a bear on the loose in Provo.
That's right. That was a much respect for that. That's a position I played, and I completely respect that. Right?
Yep.
So
5 questions tonight presented by Strategy Square for Coach Lewis Walker. And let Chantel help your business grow through social media. Find out how she can do it at strategysquare.co. Here come 5 rapid fires.
Yeah.
We'll see what's on your mind. All
First
right?
thing that comes in.
Fire away.
Favorite sports movie?
Favorite sports movie? Friday Night Lights.
Oh, nice. Did you watch the series too, or just the movie?
I watched the series, but the movie's better.
The movie's better. I'm with you. Okay. Your favorite singer or band?
Favorite singer? You guys are going to kill me for this.
No, I might like
Trust
it.
me, we've heard everything.
We've heard crazy stuff. We've heard normal stuff.
I would say between a Mariah Carey and a Shania Twain. You guys are going to kill me for that
What
one.
in the world? Like, what high school did you go to?
Judge Memorial.
Is that what they listen to in
That
Judge
explains
Memorial?
it.
So my music. I know this is supposed to be rapid fire, but like my music goes from a country to a pop to a hip hop to a gospel. Like I'm all over the place. But
Listen, I just want you to know we're in our 5th year of this show.
That's the first
This is our
Shania
first
Twain.
Shania Twain. So congratulations.
But I respect it.
Yeah, we respect that.
I like Shania Twain, but
hi
I didn't.
Shania, that's what I would say.
So yeah, so I grew up in New York playing sports. So I'm like an all hip hop guy, and he thinks that's hilarious. You know, but and he's AC/DC, which is completely messed up.
See, I can't understand the words in Blaine's music.
I can't understand. I do understand the words in his music, and it's not good. That's
Some of it's not great.
So,
But Shania Twain is always good.
Yeah, we love it. So
that's good.
She got some good songs.
Oh man. Okay, I'm gonna remember that one. Your favorite breakfast cereal?
Favorite breakfast? Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Okay.
That is a good one. See, that's a good one. Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
I like that. I just fired right out. You know, some guys have to sit there.
Yeah, like some people. Should I say the healthy thing?
They don't want to say what they really like. It's like when someone calls it, "What'd you watch on TV?" It's like whatever was on PBS last night.
Yeah, exactly. So Danny Ainge said he likes just shredded wheat, not frosted shredded wheat, just plain shredded wheat. I'm like little bales of hay.
Little bales of hay.
Please tell me you put sugar on it. He's like, no, Michelle doesn't allow that. I was like, oh man, that's the worst cereal anybody's ever mentioned is Danny Ainge.
That is the worst one. Sorry, Danny.
Yeah. Okay, your favorite football player at any level of all time?
Ronnie Lott.
Ronnie Lott. That guy was fierce. So Dave and I had a good relationship with John Robinson, and John would tell us about coaching him, and just said he was the greatest warrior he had ever seen. Yeah. So
there's a lot to pick from in that category, man.
That's a great one.
Ronnie Lott's a good one.
Okay. This is an interesting question, but your favorite BYU memory?
I'm not answering that one.
So no, you can. You can. Was it that game that we talked about? That's okay.
Yes, that was probably that for me because I was on the other side. I can't tell you an experience about being on this side of it.
You will have plenty.
All you have is spring ball. It's a small.
Okay, I'll give you one. I would say the catch that Puka Nacua had against Boise State, and everyone's asking how did he catch that ball? Did he get the toe down on the
where he reached out over on the left. The end zone over on the left side.
Contorted his entire body and got the toe down. So if I would say something on this side,
that's fine and good. But tell us again what to win. Let's go back to the one.
Let's go back to the one that meant the most. I love the way you described it. You said you called it penalty, block penalty, then the doink.
Yes.
That's how you described it.
Yeah, I just call it the doink. So when they say the doink, everyone knows what you're talking about when they say that.
Hadn't played it, Judge. You know the rivalry.
Yeah.
But you had the Salt Lake version of it.
Yeah.
And now you have the Utah County version of it, but that was a big moment. It was BYU was ranked. They expected to win that game, and the Utes kept giving them chances, and then it ends like that.
Yeah, that's when you don't let the Sharks circle, man, because it's a bad day.
Don't let the
There's been more than one doink
circle.
Game in that series, but I mean it's been that series is.
Yeah, kind of Shiro, I think, had a doink and BYU won that one.
I know I broadcast at least one of those doinks. I might have broadcast both of those.
Look, just don't let it come down to a field goal.
I call games that you were involved in.
3 points last year was the game. Right?
Yeah. And then Farron 2 years ago up in Salt Lake had to kick that field goal at the end.
And think about that one last year. There was a holding call, which was the accurate call. Even the NFL's former commissioner.
You mean up at
the last one up at Rice Eccles? The last one up at Rice Eccles were penalties affected the outcome. Another chance, and then BYU took advantage. So that was like the reverse of the doink game. For BYU on that one. It was crazy.
We're glad you're here.
Yeah, I'm glad that I'm here. I thank you guys for having me here. Obviously, a big shout out to Cougar Nation, man. They've supported and kind of pulled me into this thing, and it's been awesome just to meet a lot of different people, and I look forward to meeting more, and I look forward just to continue to go through this thing and get this season started because it's going to be a special one.
Yeah, we're going to have some good times.
Yeah, no, we're glad to have it, and Dave and I are really involved in the pre and post games and all that kind of stuff, and so we wanted Cougar Nation, and Wise Guys goes all over the world and gets downloaded all over the world tomorrow. And we wanted them to get to know who you were.
I appreciate it. I'm an open book. A lot of people have hit me up on Twitter and Instagram. So when I get back to them, they're like, oh, I didn't think you were going to answer. Oh, if I have the opportunity to, I'm going to, So I know it's different than a lot of other coaches around the country. But
we will see you at practice here before you know it. But until then, have a great summer.
Thank you.
And August will be here before we know it.
And welcome back to the home state.
Yes, thank you very much. It's good to be back. And I love saying at the end of it, go Cougs.
Go Cougs. Nice. We love hearing you say that. Thanks, Lewis Walker, cornerbacks coach at BYU on the Wise Guys tonight. Thank you, Coach. It is great to have you here. A fantastic interview. Who would want to play for that guy?
Yeah, well, I've talked to a lot of the guys. They love him. So there you go. So.
Thanks, Lewis. Appreciate that. The Re-Lyte Athlete of the Week is presented by Redmond. The secret's in the salt. Learn what it can do for you at redmond.com. And it's our pleasure to announce Jane Hedengren as the Re-Lyte Athlete of the Week again.
This is a regular. She's a regular, and for a great reason. Jane qualified for the NCAA championships in the 10,000 meters and the 5,000 meters at the West Regionals in Fayetteville, Arkansas. So who does that, first off, qualifies for both. I think she could qualify for whatever. She could qualify in the mile. Like, I don't care what she's running. Anything from 800 on up, she's world-class,
just
right?
Phenomenal.
To win the 10,000, she had to outlast New Mexico's Pamela Koski. After Koski ran her out of her lane, by the way.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
It's illegal.
Yeah. She ran her out of the lane. Then Hedengren responded. He beat her by less than a second. She beat her on the outside and out-sprinted her.
You know what she didn't have? She didn't have road rage. You know how sometimes people just drift you right out of your lane on I-15?
She's like, you know what? Whatever. I think Jane's so confident. She's just like, don't worry. Once we get to the straightaway, it doesn't matter what lane I'm in.
Yeah, I'm still going faster.
I'll outrun anybody to the finish line, which is exactly what she did. So her time of 31 minutes and 27.3 seconds broke the 17-year facility record.
Yeah.
That every time she steps on the track, she breaks the facility record. On Saturday, Hedengren ran the 5,000 meters in 15 minutes, 17.93 seconds to finish third overall, but well within the top 12 to qualify for the championships. They begin June 10th in Eugene, Oregon. During the indoor season, she won the national championship in the 3,000 and the 5,000. In cross country, she was just a freshman, just the freshman phenom, we call her. She finished as the national runner-up to a senior. She is, again, the Re-Lyte Athlete of the Week. The secret is in the salt. Learn what can you do for you at redmond.com. You can click on the link in the chat and show notes for a discount code giving you 15% off Redmond products. I use Re-Lyte myself. The track team uses Re-Lyte. It's a phenomenal product, and Jane is a very worthy winner again of our Redmond Re-Lyte Athlete of the Week.
Congratulations to Jane. We hope to visit with her after the national championships, which are coming up in a couple of weeks, and we'll have more track news. There were a bunch of Cougars that qualified for the NCAA titles, and we'll have more of that coming up here in just a little bit. But a question on the stream: did the New Mexico runner get disqualified? I didn't see anywhere where she was disqualified. The rules say she should have been, but Jane ended up winning, and I think they just kind of.
Do you think it's kind of like they are when, like in basketball, somebody gets fouled and then the ball goes in anyhow? Sometimes they're just like, I'll just let it go. It really didn't affect the play. So the question is, did they look at it and go, oh, Jane won anyhow? Let's not create a controversy. We'll just let it go. The right person won anyhow.
Diljit Taylor's got it rolling at Icestone, who was on the show last week, talking about how important that opportunity was to stack the field.
Yeah.
Right? Get as many runners as you can get qualified. Just had to finish in the top 12.
And that's, you think Jane probably can compete to win, have a double championship. She's good enough to do that. The whole idea in regionals was just get in. Just get in. Just get there. And the time to peak is that week up in Eugene, right? To peak and everything. And so let's see what Jane can do, along with a really nice group of BYU runners. So
we've had a good run in Eugene.
Yeah,
they like that track.
Yeah.
And we'll see. And someone's going to win the steeplechase because that's what BYU does.
BYU just dominates that every year. So.
Our next guest is the president of the BYU Alumni Association. In addition, he's the CEO of the Salt Lake Chamber and Downtown Alliance, and the former president and CEO of World Trade Center Utah, and former chief of staff of our friend Governor Gary Herbert. He's a graduate of the J. Reuben Clark Law School and the Romney Institute of Public Management at BYU. It is our pleasure to welcome Derek Miller to the Wise Guys. First of all, it's great to have you and your wife back in the old neighborhood here in Provo.
Yes.
But welcome to the show.
So good to be with you guys.
What do you think of the place?
Oh my gosh.
Nobody knows it's here. We were telling Lewis, like, you can't tell anybody where it is. Because we have to keep our guests safe.
Hopefully,
we don't want people storming the building, right?
Hopefully, Laura's taking notes on how to build you a man cave at the house.
I think she's taking notes of what we won't be doing in our basement.
Now that he's on the show, though, does he get to join our golf group with Governor Herbert and us?
Feels like you should.
Seems like you should come out and play with us sometime.
Is Gov still out there doing well?
He's still hitting down the middle.
He comes still hit. Like, he's not, like, he doesn't hit as long as he used to, but he's just always right down the middle.
He's the best guy.
Yeah. No,
he's my mentor. He's my friend.
Is there a more competitive guy on the planet? If it comes down to a putt or a serve or whatever, that's his time.
So you all were asking Coach Walker about his favorite BYU sports memory. This is not my favorite BYU sports memory, but sports memory in all time. When Governor Herbert was in office, you remember Lone Peak won the state championship. They were ranked like second or third in the whole country. Mm-hmm. So he invited them to come to the Capitol, and they set up a little basketball court in the rotunda of the Capitol.
Oh, nice.
And then he played a game of horse with the whole Lone Peak team and won.
That does not surprise me. He's like uber competitive, and he and Dave are fast Orem High, alums.
I went to Mountain View, so I had to hear a lot of that.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's the only. I love to play golf with them, but I hear all about Orem High. I'm like a New York guy. I didn't even know Orem High existed until I came out.
Yeah, well, I went to Mountain View. I didn't know Orem High existed either.
That's exactly right.
Well, I don't understand a single word of either that you guys are saying tonight. Speaking of foreign language.
No, we all love Governor Herbert. He's one of the great human beings.
There are more Orem Tigers at BYU, I think, than in the history of the place.
He reminds me Puka Nacua is an Orem Tiger too, right?
Yeah, and Chad Lewis.
And Chad.
Long history.
Lavelle. Go back to Lavelle.
Wait, Lavelle was an Orem High guy?
He coached there.
Oh, he didn't go. He went to Granite.
He's got a piece of Orem High.
No, there's no piece of Orem.
He's in the Orem High Hall of Fame with Governor Herbert and myself. So there's a spot for Lavelle in there.
Wow.
Derek, is there ever a greater time to be the president of the BYU Alumni Association than right now? And how eager are you looking forward to what's about to happen in the next year?
It's so exciting. I just pinch myself whenever I think that a kid who went to Mountain View gets to be the president of the Alumni Association, especially at this time, and for lots of reasons. Of course, sports, all the great things that are happening in our track and field, and our volleyball, and then of course basketball and football, but just across campus in general. One of the most fun things that I get to do when I come back to campus, of course I live in Salt Lake City now, but when I come back to campus for board meetings, alumni meetings, is they'll take us to the different colleges, to the different schools, and we learn about what they're doing on campus. I mean, this is cutting edge stuff across the board in every discipline.
There's great things happening. In what ways have you seen, like BYU sports in particular, connect the Alumni Association from all around the world? It does have some type of connecting effect, doesn't it?
It's the strongest connecting effect is through our sports programs for sure. And one of the things that I really love about it is I first experienced this when I left school, moved to Washington, D.C., started my career. And of course, I'd grown up here. I'd grown up, watching Gifford Nilsson, Jim McMahon, Steve Young, et cetera, But it wasn't until I got outside of Utah and I went to my first tailgate, and it's when they were playing UVA. We all drove down to Charlottesville. When I say we, I mean like the whole of Northern Virginia drove down to Charlottesville and participated in that tailgate. It was like a whole new part of the BYU sports experience.
Such a fun thing. That's the game. Didn't we have to kill 1 million hours worth of time because of rain delay at that one?
It was a hurricane, something.
Yeah, just a typical day in Virginia. Yeah. They just call that rain.
Just normal. So.
It's interesting, and Dean Ott's going to be on the show coming up as the medical school takes shape. When you talk about the things that are going on campus and how sports, and it's not all about sports, right? This is a sports show. We're not all about sports here. But sports is the megaphone. It's like Michigan has this great law school, but no one ever heard of it till Michigan had a football team that was number one. But winning the national championship in 1984 legitimized so many things here that were already here, that were good in all these other departments. It's hard to put a price tag, and as a member of the Big 12, really, to the value of not only having a sports team, but having a really good one.
Yeah. And it's getting bigger, that megaphone. Yeah. It's getting bigger every day. And what I love particularly about being part of the Big 12 is these schools seem to have these same value systems that we do at BYU. We all know BYU is a unique school because of its founding institution and its board of directors. But we see such commonality, especially one of the cool things I see it manifest itself, those shared values, is when we go on the road with the football team, with the basketball team, and we have these tailgates, and then we have these service projects. So I think I see on the wall behind you here, Dave, I see, Texas Tech, and when we were in Lubbock, to have Patrick Mahomes there, to have Coach Andy Reid there, to have them do what they did, and kind of that friendly competition, BYU, Texas Tech, and but the thing that we always hear, I mean, it gets such great play on the local news all across the country with these Big 12 schools, and they talk about BYU came to town and we held this service project. We collected all these books. We raised money for the widows in the local police department, local fire department. I mean, this is leaving a mark on people that they won't soon forget. It's not just a game came to town and by Monday you've forgotten who won. I mean, this leaves a mark on their hearts that they will never forget.
Yeah, go ahead, Dave.
The year the team went to Arkansas, we've talked about it a few times, that the tweet of the weekend was from an Arkansas fan that said something to the extent of, it's hard not to like BYU. They came to town, they filled our food bank, they beat our team, and then they left.
Yeah. And I think the other part of that was, I wish I couldn't like them.
Yeah.
But I can't. I have to like them.
Yeah, this Cougs Care program, the tailgate program, we've seen it do marvelous things. We've tried to promote it in the weeks going into the games, but we always hear from visiting media about, hey, BYU just seems to leave our community in a better place every time their fans come into our town. What's on tap for this fall? Do you have some fun things planned for this fall's road schedule? Where not only are there going to be tailgates to bring everybody together, but these projects that seem to leave places better than they found them.
What I'm really excited about, Blaine, is that it will go layers deeper into the community, because it won't just be focused only on a tailgate. So we're talking now about when our musicians, when our young ambassadors, when any of our performing arts are going into these communities across the country, what kind of service can we expect to associate with those events? So the sports, obviously, this is the big marquee. This is what, as you said earlier, unites people. We wouldn't know them, but there are some people, some alum, who don't watch the sporting events. But what is deep in their heart are these other things.
Yeah.
And so for them to be able to connect to their fellow BYU alum, as well as connect to their local community and whatever the university is that they're visiting, it's going to really expand this opportunity.
Is there a location where alumni from around the world can go to get information on what might be coming? There's Fort Collins, there's Fort Worth, there's Orlando, there's Salt Lake, there's Lawrence on the schedule for football this year. But is there an alumni site where everyone can go, hey, what are we doing?
Yeah, so it's so easy in today's world, right? I mean, you don't have to remember these long URLs or www, whatever. So you just go and Google or ask your favorite AI chatbot, tell me about the BYU alumni events, and you're going to see it all.
It'll just come right up. It's our pleasure to have Derek Miller, president of the BYU Alumni Association, on the Wise Guys, presented by Brady Plus and Mountain America Credit Union. At home games, we also treat the visiting fans with great respect.
Yeah.
And we roll out the red carpet, in essence, for them. One of the things we do is we give out ice cream to the visiting fans. What's the most surprising reaction you've heard about or witnessed yourself when you hand a visiting fan ice cream that's in our stadium?
Yeah, this is such a cool thing, and it's so classic BYU, right? I mean, first of all, let's just settle it once and for all. The BYU Creamery has the best ice cream of any other university, not just in Utah.
Favorite flavor?
On the planet.
Yeah.
So I hear that President Reese has a new flavor.
Oh, no.
He's got a new one coming out?
Yeah. And I'm trying to remember the name of it, but I tried it recently and it was really good.
Is it better than Graham Canyon? Because everybody loves Graham Canyon.
That's always the number one. But you know what else is really exciting? We're coming out with an alumni flavor. I don't want to step on or steal my own thunder here, but sometime in the next few weeks, there's going to be a special alumni flavor.
You have to let us know, and we'll announce it on the show. What it's
awesome.
going to be.
Yeah, have them send some over. We'll eat it on the show.
We'll eat it on the show. We will absolutely do that.
So one of my favorite moments in handing out the ice cream is Elder Gong was in the president's box watching the game, and he saw a few of us standing up and getting ready to go out to hand out the ice cream. And he said, "What's going on? Where are you all going?" And we told him, he said, I want to come help do this. And so this, I don't know what it means. You guys are in this business. I don't know what it means to blow up the internet anymore. But in Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints circles, Elder Gong blew up the internet by handing out the ice cream, and not just handing it out, but passing it spot on.
Tossing
I
some.
love it.
That's great.
That's fun.
That's great. Let's talk about the alumni base for a minute. We're going to ask you some impossible questions.
Okay.
All right? We'll throw some names at you, and you can tell us who's the most influential. Let's start with the most influential football coach that's a BYU alum. And now Lavelle Edwards went to Utah State, but he picked up his master's. So we're
including him.
You got Lavelle, you got Kalani, you have Tom Holmoe, you have Kyle Whittingham, who's at Michigan, you have Steve Sarkisian, who's at Texas, you got Andy Reid, who's with the Chiefs, and you have Mike Leach, the late Mike Leach, who's going to go into the Hall of Fame with the influence that he had on the game. But all these are BYU alums. Who's your pick?
Well, I think it'd be heresy if we didn't say Lavelle Edwards. I mean, my gosh, the field's named after him. He transformed the entire game, and not just the college game. It started with the college game, but then, you saw the so-called West Coast offense that Bill Walsh picked up. And who did he learn it from? He learned it from Lavelle Edwards.
And Andy learned it from Lavelle.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I look at that list, every one of these are in Lavelle's coaching tree.
Yeah.
Right. And we could add Brian Billick to that as well. Played tight end here, and who he taught about the passing game. So Lavelle, I love that. That's
all right.
Seems like a great.
Here's another tough one.
Yeah. So most influential alumni that's a civic leader. So we'll give you some. Ezra Taft Benson, Secretary of Agriculture. You got Rex E. Lee, who's the Solicitor General of the United States. Dallin H. Oaks, who served as a Utah Supreme Court Justice. Mitt Romney, who was the governor of Massachusetts, presidential candidate. I mean, we may be missing some, but there's a
whole list, but
there's
we just
such a
picked
long
some.
list, so we picked those, and we thought, who's the most influential alumni civic leader from that group?
Well, we already talked about Governor Herbert, so we won't include him. But I would, when we're talking about just civics, if it was anything else, if you hadn't put that qualifier in, of course, I would say our prophet, President Dallin H. Oaks. But Mitt Romney would be the one who's had the greatest influence in my mind in our civic society and continues to have a great influence. And in fact, just last week gave the commencement address at Harvard, where he went to business school and law school, got a joint degree. And he talked about, this was the quote, he said, before you can be a great nation, you have to be a good nation. Talked about principles of our founding, 250 years this year, celebrating our Constitution and Declaration of Independence. And so that would be my answer. Governor, Secretary, Romney.
When you think about Secretary of Agriculture, that's huge.
That's a big one.
Right? That was so long ago. We were just little kids, actually before then. And then President Lee, the Solicitor General. I mean, we're talking about, this is a who's who alumni group that you're the president of the association. Let's take it one step further with most influential alumni church leaders. President Benson, President Thomas S. Monson, who picked up a graduate degree here, President Dallin H. Oaks, President Jeffrey R. Holland, Sherry Dew, who could have been a great basketball player but chose not to.
She told us she was too shy.
We've heard her story.
She was high school, first team All-State in Kansas.
Well, she's definitely tough enough.
Oh, yeah, she's tough enough.
She is.
How about that group?
Well, just because I grew up learning that the most important prophet is your current prophet, I'm going to say Dallin H. Oaks.
That's a good choice, sir.
No, he is
There's
fantastic.
no bad choice in that list.
Yeah, fantastic.
Our pleasure to have Derek Miller, the new president of the BYU Alumni Association, on the Wise Guys. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and wiseguys.com. Now let's get to a little more personal question.
Yeah. This one's tough. Most influential alumni quarterbacks. Steve Young, Jim McMahon, Robbie Bosco, Ty Detmer, Max Hall, Taysom Hill. That's a tough list to choose from. Yeah.
That is a tough one. So I mentioned earlier I grew up going to the stadium and watching Gifford Nielsen, but I also remember very young watching Jim McMahon. And I know this is a fact because I was there. When the offense would get a penalty, the crowd would cheer because they knew it was just more yards for McMahon. I mean, there was just nothing. Having said that, I also remember watching the Miracle Bowl, and I have me and my two younger brothers watching it. And in the moment when that happened, greatest. I remember 84, Robbie coming back on the field, limping, bad ankle, throwing it in the end zone, beating Michigan, maintaining that undefeated season. My three brothers and I leapt into each other's arms in the same moment and collapsed to the ground. But having said all that, I'm going to go with Steve Young. For me, he just embodies BYU football at the quarterback position. So fun to watch, and then so fun to watch him go into the NFL, first USFL, of course, but the NFL, and watch him play at the 49ers. It's just nothing but great memories.
Let's hurry and move on before Ty texts us.
I just wanted to Ty.
He said, hey, got a Heisman.
Don't text me about this, Ty. Don't at me.
I was also there at the Miami game. I mean, so many great moments.
That was a great electric night in the stadium.
And remember, everyone had the ties on.
Yeah. Steve's the only NFL Hall of Fame quarterback, right?
Right.
So we got to give him his due. And I love Steve. Like, I played with Steve and with Jim and with Robbie, so that was kind of fun to be with all those guys.
How about most influential alumni basketball players? And AJ has to graduate to be eligible.
They made it easy on me.
Kreshmer Chosic, Tina Gunn, Danny Ainge, Jimmer Fredette.
Oh my gosh, this one's even harder than the quarterback. But this was before my time, but I'm going to say Kosic. I was on a river cruise on the Danube about 5 years ago, and there was a woman on that cruise who was from the former Yugoslavia. Yeah. And when I told her the story about how Kreshmer came to BYU, she had not known that. She knew him after as this great player in Yugoslavia. And I told her about how he came to BYU, and she was not a member of the church, but I told her the story of how he was staying up late at night to translate the Book of Mormon into his native language. And she just was crying. I mean, she was so moved. I think the influence that he's had, I'm going to put him as number one.
Yeah, I would agree with that one. I think I told a story a few weeks ago. Was it with us here, or I can't remember. I was telling somebody I was in Croatia in a cab in Croatia. And we were going, and I asked him if he'd ever heard the name, and he like pulled over and looked at me like, "Are you kidding me?"
He's a hero,
from this region. He's the greatest player and the greatest like representative of our area ever.
That's exactly what this woman said to me.
Wow, and this was not an older person. Like he knew exactly who he was. And I thought, wow. I mean, I've heard about what an unbelievable player he was. I've seen video. But I didn't understand the impact he had on that part of the world, which is really, really cool.
I'm sure you were both there at the Marriott Center during the halftime when they retired his number posthumously, and his wife and kids were there, and President Monson came. I mean, at halftime at the Marriott Center, at halftime of a basketball game, suddenly a fireside broke out.
Right.
It was beautiful.
On the stream, Ken says, hola from the colonies in Mexico. Good to have you with us from south of the borders. Wise Guys scans the globe here tonight with Derek Miller. When you look at all that you're doing with the Salt Lake Chamber and what you've done with economic development throughout all your career, how did BYU prepare you for that?
That's a good question, which is just another way, a euphemism for saying I hadn't thought of that before. Have you ever noticed that one?
Yeah,
that's a good question.
Because it allows their brain to go, I got to find an answer to this.
Every good thing in my life has roots back to BYU. And that includes my undergraduate in international relations, a law degree, an MPA degree. What prepared me the most from BYU, as corny as it may sound, is our slogan, enter to learn, go forth to serve. I took it seriously, just like every other of our 500,000 plus alum. And think of all the good that 500,000 people are currently doing around the world because they learned the lessons that we did, that we gain knowledge so that we can make the world a better place.
You mentioned the over 500,000 alumni around the world. If there's one thing, and you could reach all 500,000 plus in an instant, what one thing would you ask them to do in this coming year?
Well, of course, I'd ask them to get involved, but the way that they do that is infinite. They can get involved in so many different ways. I had the really tremendous blessing of speaking at commencement a couple weeks ago. And as I was thinking about what to say, I really felt a spark of inspiration to impress upon their minds. Now, these are the graduates, but I'd like to impress upon every alum's mind what a special and unique place they went to school. And what makes it special and unique is because every experience they had was an opportunity to have a revelatory experience, because it's an institution that's Christ-centered and prophetically led. And I told these graduates, now the world is going to tell you, go make a name for yourself. I remember feeling that way, go make a name for myself now that I'm getting out of school. But my challenge to them and my challenge to all the alum is you can do something much better than that because you went to school at BYU, and that is you can make a name for Christ in the world. What a special opportunity we have to do that.
Outstanding. 5 questions now for Derek Miller, presented by Strategy Square. They're a little different than the ones that you heard us give.
Some are the same. Some are the same.
Okay.
So it gave you a little while to think about it, but we had to take a step back with Lewis's favorite band or singer. That was a surprise.
Yeah, we didn't see that
I
coming.
could not have been more surprised.
Did not see that one coming. So let's start with a couple of the same. Your favorite sports movie. We'll start with that.
Hoosiers.
Hoosiers. Okay,
I
so
remember
it's a
seeing
basketball.
it in Rexburg, Idaho with my grandpa when it first came out.
One of our very first year guests on this show also said Hoosiers, and her name's Marie Osmond.
Awesome.
That's her favorite.
Hoosiers is a classic.
Yeah, it's a good one.
And
We saw it on
holds
our
up.
mission. Our mission president let us see it together as his own on our mission because he thought it was so inspiring for teamwork. And so, of course, he became the greatest mission president ever
in history.
by letting us do that. But it was just classic.
Okay, we'll also do your favorite singer or band.
So I thought this when you asked Coach Walker. Well, that's 2 different questions. So my favorite.
You can give us 2.
Yeah,
then.
my favorite singer, Bruce Springsteen. My favorite band, Led Zeppelin.
Oh, so Led Zeppelin. See, now Led Zeppelin.
That's why you're the president of
Led
the BYU
Zeppelin,
Alumni
I get.
Association.
AC/DC, I don't get it. Led Zeppelin, I get it. They're artists. AC/DC make noise.
Yeah, but you'd go see him in a second. I don't know why you bash him like that.
I know. If Dave took me, I would go just for the experience.
Springsteen and Zeppelin, those are classics.
Those
but
are
we're from the
absolute-
classic.
Those are
We're from the
absolute
classic
classics.
era.
I love it. Those are great
Those are
choices.
great.
So, okay, so here's a new one for you. Your favorite hamburger joint. Doesn't have to be in Utah. Any place in the world. Favorite hamburger joint.
Crown Burger on North Temple. My wife and I are there every Friday or
Do
Saturday.
you get the Crown Burger with the pastrami and everything on it?
When I was a younger man, I used to get that one. Now I get the kids' meal. It's shameful, I know, but it's a good deal.
The cheeseburger's outstanding.
It's a good
Hey,
deal.
not to plug somebody that has never been on the show, but we just went to this place called Fancy Burger up on State Street the
That's
other
good
day.
stuff. You should try that.
I had never been there before.
Okay, we're
'cause
gonna go.
It was
Put
a
it on the
trailer. You
list.
guys, it was like an Airstream trailer, and they bought the building behind it, and they've kind of made it really kind of cool. And they had live music, and we went in, and the burger was fantastic. I thought, okay, how did I not know about this place?
It's where we've had Elders Quorum presidency meetings at Fancy
How
Burger.
did you
So
never
should try
tell me
that.
about Fancy Burger?
So I had
No, it's just there.
a friend asked me, Derek, what's a really nice restaurant we can go to in Salt Lake City? And I said, Crown Burger on North Temple. And she said, no, I mean, really fancy. And I said, I understand. It is very fancy. There's ivy on there. There's a fireplace.
It's run by the nicest Greeks you can come across.
And then she went a third time and said, no, for real, like if I have to take some people there. And I finally said, Laura and I were at our anniversary dinner 2 weeks ago at Crown Burger on North Temple.
For real?
Yeah.
I love this.
She's a good sport.
That's what I'm talking about.
It was her choice.
By the way, Fancy Burger, now that it's in a building, like we had been doing something, work, like hauling some furniture or something, and I had sweats and a t-shirt on and flip-flops. And we went in, and we said 2, and she said, do you have a reservation? And I looked at myself, I'm like, I think I'm very underdressed. Like, you can get a reservation here? She goes, yeah, but you're fine. You can do whatever you want. And it was fancier than I thought it was. It's like a high-end burger place.
You can't spell fancy burger without saying fancy.
Right, true.
Now you
So
know.
right.
I need to dress up next time. Brenda said we
The
need to
biggest
dress
Crown
up.
Burger customer of all time was President Monson.
Oh,
he loved that
that's
place.
right.
And they knew his order, and he'd come through the drive-through, and we ate there for the 9-10 years I was at KSL because it's across the street.
Yeah, right.
So
Yeah.
you're speaking our language.
Good company.
Good
So,
stuff.
well, here's another same question for you for question number 4. Favorite BYU memory?
It's the one I already mentioned, which was Michigan game, 84, national championship.
Robbie to Kelly Smith in the end zone.
And it was the only time my brothers and I were that close and not fighting, not in a wrestling match.
Listen how sports brings us together. That's why families need it. Yeah.
Do you remember the touchdown pass that Robbie threw to Glenn Kozlowski? back of the end zone, and Robbie looked like he was just throwing the ball away because he was getting pressure, and he threw it like 10.5 feet high and out of the back of the end zone, and somehow Glenn looked like made out of rubber and reached way back and caught the ball and came down on one foot and got it in. And there's still an argument whether Robbie was throwing it. He says, no, I threw it where only Glenn could get it. And Glenn and I think that Robbie was throwing it away and that Glenn saved him on that.
We're glad he caught it.
We're glad
he caught it.
So,
Amazing.
Here's a unique one, and this is important because she's here tonight. We want to know your favorite piece of advice that has ever been given to you by your wife, Laura.
That's got her ears perked up.
Another good question. Favorite piece of advice. When I graduated from BYU with the joint degree, JD MPA, my first job was as a management consultant and living in Washington, D.C., and I loved it because it was all about how to improve things, process improvement. And at a very young age, I had the opportunity to manage a team doing that. And I remember coming home one night. I don't remember what had preceded this, but I remember Laura looking at me and saying, Derek, we're not one of your project teams. We're your family. So that was the best advice among many, many pieces of good advice.
That's important.
Very good,
that's
Laura.
Important.
Separate work and home, right? I love it.
Hey, we're glad you could come by.
Thank
You're
you,
welcome
guys.
here anytime. When there's something going on with the alumni, just swing by and
we'll bring you some ice cream.
Oh yeah,
Soon
dude! When you're
out.
ready to announce it, we'll
alumni,
try it right here on the air.
The alumni flavor.
Yeah.
And congrats on your post. We look forward to working with you this year and beyond. And whatever you need from us, just holler.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, William.
We don't. Dave mentioned this earlier, but the show has been centered on sports for its entire life. But we've the real purpose for what we want to do is shine a light on people doing magnificent things that are related to BYU, that tie back to BYU. And so if you know of anything that alumni are doing that's really cool around the world, it doesn't always have to be sports. We'd love to cover it here, bring a guest on. So we're always open to though. We've had some really cool non-sports guests doing amazing things in the world on the show over time.
Awesome.
So
Thank
keep us
you, guys.
posted.
On your way out of town, are you going to drive through the old neighborhoods that you grew up in just up the road from here?
We're just going to go to the south and drive by the house I grew up in, then drive by the house Laura grew up in, and then drive to the place where we used to kiss and see what happens.
Oh, man. And see what happens.
Well, after your other answer, I like your chances tonight.
I think so, because your
good
answer
job.
was really, really good. I think you're in good stead right now.
Thank you for being with
Thanks,
us.
guys.
Derek Miller,
Thanks so
the
much,
president of the BYU Alumni Association, getting ready for a huge year of Cougar football, both here at home and on the road and across the board and everything else that's going on. That's fantastic. And, just grew up the street, down the street, and his wife Laura, so they'll go comb the neighborhoods and we'll sail on. Some other Cougars that are doing a good job. Quick Quack Car Wash, proud supporter of the Wise Guys. This week, Quick Quack is celebrating 2 grand openings, one in Whittier, California, and another one in San Antonio, home of the Western Conference champion San Antonio Spurs.
And home of your mission.
And home of our mission.
That's right. Let's start with the fundraiser in Whittier tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Will benefit a nonprofit organization that empowers adults with disabilities to live and work in their home communities. In San Antonio, Quick Quack is celebrating the grand opening of their 11th location.
They're taking over San Antonio.
Cheering on the Spurs, right? That's what they're doing there.
So what's fundraiser
the fundraiser
there? They're benefiting a family of an amazing 4-year-old diagnosed with stage 3 kidney cancer. And so they're rallying around that family and raising money. And then, as usual, there's 12 days of free car washes at both of the new locations starting on Wednesday.
Yeah, Quick Quack's always looking for nominations for fundraisers for upcoming Quick Quack locations. So you can nominate someone at quickquack.com preview fundraiser. So / So quickquack.com / is that what you call that when it's this way? Yeah.
Yeah.
/
preview
fundraiser or preview fundraiser. And when you see a Quick Quack car wash, you need to know and remember that it's run by BYU guys who support the Wise Guys, BYU alums. And as they always tell us, remember, don't drive dirty.
Don't drive dirty.
Yep, that's the theme. So
I got to get my car washed. I'm going to take it to a Quick Quack because it's dirty. We appreciate their support. And Travis Kimball's the biggest Spurs fan that we've ever known.
Oh, yeah.
And so it should be no shock that all these stores are opening up in San Antonio. Campus Notes are presented by BYU Pathway Worldwide. BYU Pathway makes truly affordable, fully online, spiritually based college degrees accessible to folks worldwide through greatly reduced tuition, weekly peer gatherings, and English support, helping students earn sooner, increase their income, and deepen their faith. And you can learn more about it at byupathway.edu. Let's start with BYU Hoops.
Yeah, so Bruce Branch, the third, is named to the USA Under-18 national team. They'll play in the FIBA America Cup coming up here in León, Mexico. Underway, USA is against Argentina, right? That's underway. Tuesday, USA plays Mexico, and Thursday, USA will play against Brazil. The Field of 68 revealed its top 10 returning players for next season, and Rob Wright III was ranked the number 7 in that group. I remember Rob averaged 18.3 points, 4.6 assists, and 34.8 minutes per game last season for Kevin Young's Cougars. And as we mentioned earlier, Dave, Kevin Young's name has surfaced in the Bulls search for a new coach. Young is preparing for his third season at BYU. We talked a lot about that already. It's a great compliment that Kevin Young's name seems to come up for every one of these NBA openings because he would be a great head coach in the NBA. Fortunately, he's a great head coach at BYU. So the NBA draft is coming up June 23rd through 24th. A.J. Dybantsa is still projected to be the number 1 pick. Today, he was on TNT set at the French Open in Paris. How about that?
He gets around.
Yeah, he gets around, and wherever he goes, BYU is right there with him. We love how A.J. and his mom, Chelsea and Ace, wear BYU on their sleeve. Not just on the sleeves of their shirts, but the way they're just so openly part of the BYU family. They're great representatives of this university wherever they go. Former Cougar Yoli Childs has been named the MVP of the Japan B2 League. So Yoli's still playing at a high level.
Doing great.
And, by the way, a little basketball news. Colin and Hannah Chandler going to join the Wise Guys on June 22nd.
We're looking forward to that.
Always love it when the top athletes bring their spouse to the show.
Yeah.
It's fun stuff.
We're going to learn a lot about the new kids in town, for sure, with the Chandlers. Update you on BYU golf. For the national championships are just about, they got a day or two left, but the Cougars are done. They finished 18th. The top 15 advanced to the finals, which go into the next couple of days. So the Cougars just missed. They just had some tough rounds. Kihei Akina, I was just checking here, has finished 9th in the individual title. So number 9 in the NCAA championships for the freshman. Kihei Akina at -8. Just a lot of pars today. Yeah. The winner is at -14. And just ahead of Kihei are 4 players tied for 9th. So you go from 5th all the way to 9th. Mm-hmm. And it was a day when the birdies were elusive and LaCosta, and Kihei played phenomenal as always. Also named to the Ping All-Region West team. So the season's now come to an end for the BYU golfers. They were ranked right in around the top 30 all year long. They'll finish right around 18. That's where they finished at the national championships with a young squad and led by Akina. They got big things ahead.
Yeah, great freshman.
Yeah.
Let's turn to track and field. National ranking, BYU's women are ranked number 3 in the national rankings. BYU's men are ranked number 28. The NCAA West Regionals were in Fayetteville, Arkansas. The top 12 finishers in each event qualified for nationals.
So it was one of those things, and Ed Eyestone was on the show last week, and he explained, he goes, it's not about winning in the regionals. You just comfortably finish in the top 12. What matters is you qualify for the big show.
It's all about qualifying as many athletes as possible to run in the NCAAs, and that's how you finish high in the NCAAs. It's about depth, right? Not winning every event at the regionals.
Yeah.
And so you strategically put the right people in. So women's qualifiers, Jane Hedengren and Jenna Hutchins both qualify in the 10,000 meters. Jane also qualifies in the 5,000 meters. Paget Rasmussen, 200 meters and 100 meters. Taylor Lovell and Reagan Diamond in the steeplechase. You know the BYU is going to have somebody finish right up there in the steeplechase, men's and women's. Carmen Alder and Carly Hansen Thompson in the 1,500 meters. Callie McEwen in the 100-meter hurdles. And Kia Fisher in the discus.
Tessa Buswell and Christy Solomon Jensen also in the 800 meters. So the women's team has got a pretty good group here. They could go win the national championship.
Yeah, they've got a shot. Ranked number 3 going in. They've got great depth, as we talked about. So in great shape.
And it feels like Jane's going to win 2 national titles.
I think
it just feels like it.
I think
if she doesn't, it would be surprised. But she's a freshman.
She's so good. Yeah. So men's qualifiers cutting, no surprise, in the 1,500 meters. Tavon Kitchen and Isaac Hedengren in the 5,000 meters. And the 4x400 meter relay team of Ben Barton, Jonathan Haymuli, Jaden Jesse, and Josh Taylor qualified in that 4x400 relay.
So up next is the Outdoor National Championships, June 10th through the 13th over in Eugene, Oregon. And it'll be on TV. We'll have some details for you next Monday. But that's must-see TV.
Yeah,
because you got Cougars running all over the place.
Yeah, and if you haven't had a chance to watch Jane run, you can get a chance here at the NCAA Championships where the talent is elite level, and watch what one of the best in the world looks like against elite talent.
Soccer news, the Korea Republic men's national team will play El Salvador in a World Cup tune-up Wednesday night, Southfield at 7 o'clock, live on BYU TV. Greg Wrubell, Landon Southwick, and Spencer Linton will be on the call. Spencer served his church mission to South Korea. And so that's the team. I sent Greg a text today saying, hey, nice job. He called the Korea Republic win over Trinidad and Tobago 5-0 in a friendly on Saturday. Now, you and I have called many Hawaii BYU football games.
Yes, we have.
This was next level for those guys, and they'll have it again with El Salvador and the Korea Republic on Wednesday.
Spencer should be able to help out on that, right?
Yeah, he should.
And we knew when we were doing all those Polynesian names, we just pronounced every vowel, and we were fine. That's what we learned.
And there were a lot of vowels.
Yes, there are.
But I was listening to that game Saturday night. I'm like, so
is Spencer going to
bless their souls
speak some Korean during the course?
I didn't hear any in his sideline stuff, but maybe he'll throw some in there.
That would be really cool. We're going to have to text him.
Feels like he should.
I think he should. Let's encourage him. So
those campus notes are presented by BYU Pathway Worldwide. Learn how to increase your education in a way that can benefit your life in an easy, convenient way at byupathway.edu. When I say easy, you still have to do the work. But it's online. It's your lifestyle.
They make it very, very accessible.
It's accessible to you. Yeah. So jump in there, byupathway.edu. All right, some news on our Ephraim Hope golf tournament. That's coming up Thursday, June 11th at Fox Hollow Golf Club in American Fork, raising money to send kids to Uganda. And there's so much more going on. There's the online auction for the tournament, which is live. And it's in conjunction and designated to the charity Ephraim Hope Mission, which sends kids in Uganda to school. It's officially live tonight. You don't have to attend the tournament to participate. Whether you're watching from Utah, Texas, California, Florida, or anywhere in the world, you can bid on these items today. And if you win them, we'll ship them to you directly so everybody can participate. And there's a couple of really cool items up for auction. You're staring at them right there. There's one.
Yeah, AJ Dybantsa signed basketball. Richie Saunders signed jersey. There's just so much there. Hey, how about golf with the wise guys?
You can golf with us.
Sometimes we play with Governor Herbert. Sometimes we play with you.
So the current bid's $200. We want to see that going way
yes.
over the limit.
Yeah.
But the AJ ball, let's be honest, that could be the ball of the number one pick in the NBA draft.
And AJ's got
that should be in anybody's office.
And AJ's got the potential to be a transcendent player in the NBA as well. He's got the skill set. We know he has work ethic. If he can stay healthy and continue to progress, he can be the next Kobe Bryant.
I think he is the next Kobe Bryant.
And so that ball could be worth a lot more when he's that.
And a lot more than just playing golf with us.
That's right.
But we don't go cheap.
No,
we're in this to raise some money.
And it's not cheap to go play at Riverside, by the way.
That's right.
So
every dollar raised supports the Ephraim Hope Mission, and that helps provide educational opportunities, as mentioned, for kids in Uganda through tuition assistance, school supplies, uniforms, and other resources that can truly change the trajectory of a child's life. That's why the Wise Guides is involved. It's awesome. You can find the link to the auction in the live stream comments and in the show notes. Take a look, place a bid, help us make a difference. And if you'd like to join us in person, there's still time to register and play in the golf tournament. Again, coming up on June 11th. And you go to ephraimhope.org. You can sign up for the golf tournament. And the link is also in the show notes. Come play golf.
Yeah.
Play golf, have some lunch.
Come play golf there, bid on it, come play golf with Dave and I. So do they get to bid and they get to bring a guest? Is it two of them that come play with us? It's just you and me and two people?
Well,
so there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, then that's really cheap. Come on, let's get that thing going, you guys.
And we might even give you some strokes. I don't know. We're not really committing to that. We're just throwing it out there.
If you want to challenge us, we'll play, or we'll team up with you and play, or we can just play for fun. It's a beautiful setting. It's one of the best golf courses in the state of Utah. And, we'll reminisce with you. We'll show you the hole that Tiger Woods, when he was playing at Stanford, drove it over the green on a par 4. We'll show you that hole.
Yeah, and we might hit it in the water.
Yeah.
But anyway... get involved with that. That'll be fun. And then come play golf with us on the 11th at Fox Hollow in American Fork. It's an awesome cause, and we're happy to be a part of it. Our BYU superfan tonight hails from Naperville, Illinois, and we're thrilled to have him right here in our Provo studio tonight. He's come a long ways to join the Wise Guys, and he's sitting in right now, and usually he's listening to us in the Chicago area, but here he is in the Wise Guys. Russ Paulus, we welcome you to the show.
Thank you so much.
It's good to have you here. Now we did say we could do this by Zoom, and that you didn't have to come all the way out here, but then you said, hey, I've actually got some other things going on. So what is it that brings you out west?
So what brings me out here was I was not going to miss the opportunity to know where the super secret location was.
Well, now you know.
You can't, you're like on the inner circle of trust right now. You cannot tell anybody this, Russ, right?
I will never tell anybody.
Okay.
But it just so happens that my granddaughters were both born this week.
Yeah.
So my youngest is born today and 9 years ago. And my oldest 13 years ago on the 6th. And so I came out and we went to Build-A-Bear and took Gano's, kind of a tradition, and went to the creamery on Saturday. And
Nice.
These are great traditions.
I hope they know that the Wise Guys help bring Grandpa. Well, we didn't help you bring it, but we help motivate Grandpa to come be at their birthdays.
Yeah.
It's fun. Whenever I hear Naperville, I have to tell you, it breaks my heart because my 7th grade girlfriend I grew up with in New York, in 8th grade, she moved to Naperville.
Yeah.
And I never heard from her again.
How dare her?
That's what I say. So Naperville makes
You're better off.
Naperville
It worked
makes
out
me
for you.
sad. It worked out way better. But just let me tell you, Brenda's a 10-time upgrade from her. And we're not going to mention her name because that wouldn't be right.
That wouldn't be right. And I wasn't there.
No, you weren't there. You weren't there.
I didn't get there
Naperville
till
at the time.
90, but I've lived there. I moved 8 times in 10 years after we left BYU.
Really?
With Anderson. And then we moved to Naperville. My son was going into the 2nd grade, and we wanted to settle down. And 36 years later, we're still there because my wife will not move to Utah.
Won't do it, huh?
But now have you become big Bears fans and all that goes with that?
After the show, I just want to make sure I can stick around because underneath this Notre Dame BYU shirt that I got for the 2012 game, there is a Cubs shirt for you.
Oh, Dave.
So I've been a Cubs fan since my dad was a Notre Dame fan, a Cubs fan, and a Green Bay Packer fan. And I was so relieved when the Packers finally won a World Series because my dad only rooted for losers.
Is that right? Well, you can come on this show anytime.
If he's a Cubbies
Andrew
dad.
and my son and I will be at Wrigley on Thursday and Friday.
There's no better place to spend an afternoon. That stadium is
It's a special
awesome.
place.
Yeah. Dave, the first time I ever went to Wrigley, you got me the tickets.
Yeah.
Because you knew the marketing guy back in
Knew
those
some
days.
guys.
Is that guy still there?
No, that's dried up.
Yeah, that's too bad. Because Dave got us seats on the third base line in a prime location, and we just sat there and soaked up that sun and that unbelievable environment at Wrigley
It's
in
a special
Wrigleyville, which is
place.
really cool as well. So, yeah, thanks to Dave.
So what makes you a BYU super fan? Let's hear it.
So I think it goes back to my conversion to the church. In 74, I met a person at work who I was ignoring because I never thought she'd talk to me and talk to all the other women, and it upset her. So one day we happened to be talking when we were putting out some clothing, and she said, and I told her a story about a girlfriend I had, and I was disappointed in the letter she'd sent because I knew she was making poor choices. And she said, I think you'd like my friends. And so she kept saying that for 3, 4, 5 times. And then finally I said, well, you keep saying that, but you still haven't introduced me.
Yeah.
And so that's how it got started. She invited me to a steak fireside. Thought I was going to a barbecue, literally.
That's how it
You're not the
starts.
first. Won't be the last.
The next thing you know, you think you're going to a barbecue and it changes your life, right?
Yeah, Sunday night, Catholics have no problem barbecuing on Sunday night. Let me tell you.
Exactly.
And so, so we went, and it was a great talk by a young couple, about covenants, and I'd never heard about that.
Yeah.
They talked about how you could make a commitment to the Lord, and He'd make a commitment to you, and then.
And
so
this was 1975, right?
74.
74.
And I thought, well, I'll try this. And so there'd been a couple of things I'd been struggling with, and so I tried it. And like in 5 days, I made a commitment to never drink caffeinated drinks or alcohol. And the two challenges I was dealing with, I was able to overcome in about a week.
Yeah.
And so I started attending all the meetings I knew about. If they told me about priesthood, I'd have gone to that, but nobody did, because I was mainly hanging out with the women and driving them to young adult dances all over Southern California every week.
Someone had to.
It was horrible. It was horrible duty. And anyway, but I think in general, the thing that first initially excited me was the fact that there was support for living the gospel, not just on Sundays, but every day. And I thought, this living the gospel, especially the standards, was just, that was very appealing to me.
And then somehow the Cougars got involved.
And so I've always been a sports fan. My dad was a huge football fan.
Yeah.
And, we always got our next television right before the NFL season. So.
New and improved.
So anyway, and I had a lot of great talks, driving 45 minutes all over, and being exposed to gospel principles, and thinking, well, if I join the church, that'll be no problem. And I remember one time somebody saying, yeah, President Kimball just said that every worthy young man should serve a mission. And this little voice came into my head that says, if you join the church, you're going to have to serve a mission. Well, if I join the church, I'll serve a mission. And so it progressed like that for 9 months. I so desperately wanted it to be true that I was afraid that I wasn't making an honest choice. Fortunately for me, I decided I wanted to go up to BYU for the winter semester. I was at Cal State Fullerton. I needed 18 units of PE to graduate, and I thought, well, I'll go up to BYU. I know they have a good accounting program. And so I thought, they charge non-members 150% more than they charge members. I'm going to get baptized eventually, so I might as well get baptized.
I might as well get the discount.
And so over Thanksgiving weekend, without telling all my friends, I got baptized. They happened to be home and found out. They were not pleased with me.
But I like that you said, I knew I was going to get baptized at some point anyhow. I might as well do it now. It wasn't, hey, I'm going to get baptized, and then I'll even see if I like this thing, and I'll take advantage of the discount. You just stated, I knew I was going to get baptized at some point anyhow. I thought I might as well do it now, right?
Yeah, it was just hard to. I was waiting for that burning in the bosom after reading the Book of Mormon, and it just hadn't come, And then I found out on my mission that there's a lot of other ways to receive a testimony of the gospel, and of course the Book of Mormon follows with that.
BYU superfan Russ Paulus from Naperville, Illinois, on the Wise Guys, presented by Brady Plus and Mountain America Credit Union. All right, now you're a student. Here comes the 1980 Miracle Bowl.
Okay.
How was that night?
So here's what happened. I had a great professor named Owen Charrington in the accounting program, and he got me interviews, and I didn't get any interviews off of the campus interviews. And so my wife and I got married on Thursday, and we flew out to San Francisco for interviews on Friday or Saturday. I forget exactly all the details. And so we were watching the game, and after the interviews, we were watching the game. My wife is from Britain, and she couldn't care less about football even now. And so I'm watching the game, and I go 5 minutes to go. I think, you're really stupid. Your wife's upset with you. She's falling asleep.
And you're still watching this blowout.
And I'm watching this blowout. So I turn it off with literally about 5 minutes to go. I call my mom and dad.
You and many, by the way. You're not alone in this.
I call my mom and dad up to, because we were going down for Christmas the next day. They were never members of the church. And my mom goes, wasn't that a great game? I go, well, yeah, if you're an SMU fan. She goes, you didn't turn it off, did you? And I didn't see the Holiday Bowl, the Miracle Bowl, until I got back up to BYU and watched it on the grainy big screens in the Wilkinson Center.
Wasn't it awesome that your mom knew the outcome of the game?
Yeah, that's awesome.
So as a result, I can only think of one other time that I've really left the game early as a result of that. And it was the time when it was a football game that started when it was 80 and it was snowing by the end of it.
Yeah.
And my son had come in shorts. And so
So you did leave that one. But now it's 1984. BYU's playing for a national championship in the Holiday Bowl. You go to the game.
Yeah.
You didn't leave that one early, did you?
No. So what happened there, though, was I was down in Houston and there was this big Texas guy and he was just ragging on me the entire season about how we didn't play anybody, didn't know anybody. And this is in Houston, right? So Gifford's down there as the sportscaster, so it was great. And there was a coworker who was a Michigan alum, and she got me tickets for my dad, myself, and myself and my brother. But on the Michigan side.
Oh, you sat on the Michigan side.
On the Michigan.
You're in with the Wolverines.
Did you wear BYU gear on this?
Yes, we did.
How did that go?
That's what makes him a BYU super fan right there.
Right there.
So we're sitting there. Of course, that blatant, worthless late hit, that hurt Robbie. I still think to this day that they stopped calling holding in the second half to compensate. I can't really prove that, but I do feel like he got a lot of grace. And about 3/4 of the way through the fourth quarter, when Michigan realized they were going to lose, there's this guy sitting off to the side of us going, "Robbie Bosco, you big wimp." And my brother goes, "He may be a wimp, but he's sure tearing you guys up."
Then it was on.
A lot of late hits in that game.
Then
I can
it was
tell you.
on. That was a physical game. We didn't play great.
No, we didn't.
I turned it over and all that stuff.
Turned it over 6 times.
But played great when you had to play great.
Yeah. I'd like to share one other
Okay.
really early BYU memory, which really kind of solidified my. When I was here in '75, I was in the winter semester, so I needed to attend football. But I came back in '80. But in '79, I went down to the San Diego State game.
Yeah.
And that was November 24th. I looked it up because I couldn't remember exactly.
It's just Mark Wilson at quarterback.
Right. People remember that we threw 3 touchdowns. What they forget is the first play was a sack. The second play was a passing touchdown. The third play was a sack. The fourth play was a touchdown. The fifth play was a sack. And the sixth play was a touchdown.
Wow.
And, so if you were to ask me my earliest really big, solid BYU sports memory, that would be it. And, I remember the San Diego chicken about halfway through the second quarter, kneeling down on the field and going, "What have we done?"
Yeah. So Mark was 3 for 3 for 3 touchdowns to start that game. I remember that game was an ABC nationally televised game. I was back in New York.
63-14.
Back in New York in high school, and I remember going, really? Is every ball Mark going to throw going to be a touchdown in this thing?
Al Michaels was the play-by-play guy.
Was he?
In that game.
Big
That
national.
was a big one.
Yeah.
Those were all our memories too.
Yeah.
It's fun. Now we got a football team that's won 23 games in the last 2 seasons.
23 and 4. Yeah.
What do you think this fall?
I think, and I've watched football for a long time. I'm not worried about the receiver core.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about the offensive line. I'm not worried about the defensive line. I'm not worried about our backs. I'm not worried about Bear. I think we're ready to rock.
It doesn't sound like there are too many worries left once you go through.
So how many wins then? Are they going to get to that 11-12 range again this year?
I think it's hard to get all the way through, but these glasses actually are tinted blue when they go straight.
You're safe here. We're the wise guys.
But I think we could run the table. I think it's going to be extremely difficult. The game I'm most worried about at this point is Arizona because it's the second game of the season.
Yeah.
We've talked about that a little bit because they're loaded coming back on offense. They're well coached, and it's so early, right?
Yeah.
With some new wrinkles on the defense that these guys need to learn. I wish Arizona was later in the season.
I wish it wasn't a day game. We don't. It's.
Do you believe in the Vampire Cougars?
the experience at night is like 10x.
So you don't mind staying up till midnight?
I don't. Typically what I do, my wife's making me stop this, but typically what I do is I go to the game and then I drive up to the airport and sleep in the airport and catch the first flight out in the morning.
Ah.
Okay.
So for me, getting an afternoon game is where I get to bake in September.
Yeah.
Not a favorite.
I'll get you home in time for church, so next day.
So the Arizona game is the one you're most worried about. Is there a game you're most excited about or you're most interested
Notre Dame,
in?
by
So that
sure.
Notre Dame one is your number one?
If we get by Arizona, then obviously it'll be Notre Dame. And I do want to say that I've been to 4 of the 5 games in South Bend.
Yeah.
And it's a great experience there.
We had the coldest game of our life there.
Yeah, we did a whole sideline show in a blizzard.
That was brutal.
Yeah.
I was at that game on the 4th.
And we should have won it.
Yeah, we should have.
Yeah.
But I was there for 94 when
Jamal,
Rob Morris picked up Paulus like 4 times and planted him. I guess you can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Chad Lewis blocked a field goal.
That's right.
That was the big.
right.
Some Jamal Willis had a big game. That was big.
They should have won that one. And we froze.
They should have won that one. They won the 94.
Yeah, they did. They won that one.
We should have. I think Riley Nelson still sees Cody Hoffman wide open over the middle and just didn't hit him.
It's a great place to go to a game, but so is BYU.
Oh, yeah.
But living outside of the state of Utah, how valuable are programs like the Wise Guys and what we're all doing on BYU TV to folks who just don't live here in the middle of it?
Well, for me, I think what's great about it is I remember when I was looking up scores on Sunday morning and all I could get was the final. We live in such a great time at this point where we can talk about it. We can attend. I love this show. And I serve as a temple coordinator in Chicago, so I know. I'm drawing a blank on her name. It's on the. I'm sure she's on the stream. I saw her name earlier.
Let's see who'd be out from that way.
Sylvia from Wisconsin.
Textor, yeah.
Texador. And and it just the thing that's great about and the gentleman, the new alumni
president.
For me, if people ask me what is BYU to me, it's my Mecca. And it's not just sports, it's spiritual things as well.
Yeah.
It's where I feel, the teams all talk about the community that's here. And, and I have felt that ever since I got here and still do. I love this university. And I especially love right now how much all of the programs are embracing the honor code and not kind of implying that it's a limitation, but now embracing it as a
lead
strength.
with it. Were you here in the studio when Lewis Walker? Isn't that refreshing? Every coach that comes in talks about how they lead with it, how it's part of the recruiting. This is the place where you can come and focus and be surrounded by good people and be a better person. They lead with it now.
And that's, and I think that's great. And I'm much more of a better person than I would have been if I hadn't come to this university, if I hadn't gone on my mission, etc.
We're glad you're here.
Yeah.
Let's roll out 5 questions for Russ Paulus from Naperville, Illinois, presented by Strategy Squared. Now, you've heard some.
Yeah, some are the same, but some are different.
So some are different.
We'll start with your favorite sports movie.
It's Field of Dreams. My dad and my mom is from right near Dyersville.
Oh.
And I've been to that field and with my dad and my brother, my son rather, and and for me it's just
nostalgic.
It's very nostalgic.
People will come, Ray. They most certainly will come. If you build it, they will come. So I love that one. Your favorite singer or band?
Dave, I'm going to give you some love. It's probably Led Zeppelin, but I love AC/DC. And yes, there are a few sentences in some of those songs that probably shouldn't be played.
They're in all the songs.
Well, he will quick, when we have this discussion, he'll go, "Are you kidding me, Blaine? You listen to hip hop? Yeah, let me give you a few lyrics." I'm like, no, it's okay. It's a draw. It's a draw.
It's a draw. So we like Keith Urban too, but
we both love Keith Urban.
Good choices.
And you know what? I'm not going to lie. I like Shania Twain. I like Shania Twain. Lewis Walker likes Shania Twain.
Yeah, she's
I like
great.
Shania. Who else did he say? It said Shania and somebody.
Mariah Carey.
And Mariah Carey. And Mariah, she's one of the great voices of all time. So I'm with Lewis on that too. Okay, here you go. Your favorite BYU basketball player of all time. And you've watched it for a lot of years.
I have to go with Danny Ainge. I was here when he was here. I can still remember one time where he was on the sideline and he had a towel and he was swinging it above his head. That did not go down with Coach Arnold very well.
So Danny Ainge, that's a great one. He's a good friend of ours. Favorite BYU quarterback of all time?
It's Jim McMahon, and I just want to say something. I was at the game, all the games when he was playing, and when I went on the cruise last year and I went up to get his signature, I said, and Jim, I just have one thing to say. I never rooted for Royce Bybee.
Well, Jim, I have to tell you that Jim had on the cruise, and I was there as well. Got to have dinner with Jim multiple nights while we were there. Old teammate of mine. He really enjoyed that cruise. He was a little bit worried. He's like,
it was
man,
good
it's
for
like
him.
BYU fans just have access to you everywhere. How's it going to be? And at the end of it, he said, I would do this again. He loved it. He loved the BYU community. He loved the way the fans embraced him and the way they treated him. And
Did you get a picture with him?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
See, I have this problem. One of my major concerns was how bad I'd look on camera. And so
You talked about look at me and Blaine. We're all the
it's like
same.
we're all.
And oh, by the way, my name is actually Paulus, but I understand why you did Paulus.
How do you spell it?
It's U.S.
Oh,
But,
U.S.
It's Paul-us, like U.S., not Paulos. So
but I can understand because everybody thinks Gus Paulus.
Gus Paul Chevrolet.
That's
We're
my
used
fault
to-
on that one, by the way.
So
sorry about that.
Well, no worries. Well, now everybody will know. Now that you pointed out, everybody will remember that forever. So,
one of my failings is I'm a little too candid at times.
No, you're good.
did you? I don't know if you got to go on that cruise. We had that. I got to host that quarterback panel with Jim on the panel, in the big. He was so good. Of course, I had him and Max, and it was a great group, and that was such a fun cruise. You gonna do the next one?
I haven't decided. I'm having to convince myself that I really want to go down into the Caribbean in July.
Yeah, it is warm down there. So it was a great cruise. I'm glad you were on that. Glad you got to meet Jim there. So
All right, here's the grand finale.
yeah, your favorite Lavelle Edwards Stadium memory. You gave us a San Diego. You were at the '84 Holiday Bowl. What about your favorite Lavelle Edwards Stadium memory?
Well, the one that's coming to mind is the one where Steve Young got his bell rung in Utah State. And he came down the sideline and got up like everything was fine. So it's not maybe the favorite, but it's the one that comes to mind. I think my favorite memories are just being there. And especially at night, third quarter to fourth quarter, it's
that third quarter, like that whole thing with a fan, the stadium just comes alive. It's distracting to the other team, right?
Yeah. The other thing I would say too, I had a friend from work. We don't really interact that much, but he called me up a year ago and said, "Hey, I want to go out to a BYU game." He's a Georgia guy.
Yeah.
And so I took him to the Utah game. He was going to wear his Georgia red shirt. I said, "No, that's not
okay.
That's not okay.
How did it go? What do you think?
He loved it. When everybody says, that Utah has a better environment, I first of all would never go there because I don't feel like getting hit by beer and all that. But, but I can't believe it could be better than BYU.
It's fun. They've mastered it in the last few years, too. It's just spectacular.
Incredible. The fan experience there is incredible. David Almadova and his whole crew does an incredible job there. It's a really fun place to be.
Russ Paulus with a U. We're so glad that you made it here. Next week, you'll be back in Naperville.
Yep.
Listening to the show. And
hopefully chiming in on the chat. We'll recognize you now in the chat.
I have a bit of a challenge because I have a support group I have to open the building for at 7, so I have to catch you after the fact.
Well,
which is okay because we're grateful
there.
to everybody that's on live, but we love everybody that is not listening right now that is going to download it tomorrow or go to YouTube and listen to it all week long.
I was very disappointed when you moved from Tuesday because that was wide open.
Yeah, sorry about that. But the Big 12 started playing games on Tuesday.
Yeah, we have to.
And we had to call those games
during basketball season. We ended up having to call Tuesday night games.
Why.
We thought, you know what, the best night is family night because people are going to be home and we don't have BYU assignments on Monday nights.
No, that's great.
Thanks for being here.
It's
nice to meet you.
I appreciate the opportunity so much.
Great to have you here on the Wise Guys.
Good to have you.
If you are a BYU super fan, we would love to bring you on the show. Just go to the link at wiseguys.com and provide your contact information and a paragraph or two about what makes you a BYU super fan, and we'll make it happen, whether in person or via Zoom. Wise Guys is a show for all of Cougar Nation, no matter what country you live in. And again, we can have you in studio or on Zoom. We can have you from anywhere. So go to wiseguys.com, fill out that form, and then one of us will contact you. We've already booked a whole bunch of guests for the summer, and we're going to do it forever, like all the time.
Right.
And our show is your show, and so wiseguys.com.
We're glad to have you on there. Wise Guys would also love to connect you to Cougar Tribe. You can sign up for free at CougarTribe.com and interact with a wide community of BYU fans all week long, including a special Q&A session with us. With the Wise Guys, Dave and I. Sign up today at CougarTribe.com. And we do these questions where they're submitted by the Cougar Tribe folks. And then we answer questions after the show. We'll put them out at Cougar Tribe. So it's content that's only available to Cougar Tribe. And then there's a chat about it all week long.
It's just all the time stuff.
It's good stuff. It's fun stuff. It just keeps the conversation going all week long. That we start here on Monday nights, and then we can keep that alive all week long.
And it's June. It's June. Right. There's stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
And so we're there for you. Let's roll out on this day, June 1st. I can't believe it's June. Like next month is Stadium of Fire.
That's crazy.
And then the next month it's on.
Yeah.
So here we are in June 1.
Are we having Jim sometime soon?
Yeah, next week.
Oh, next week. That's right. To talk about fourth. Executive Director of the Freedom Festival, join us. So, on this day. Let's start in 1774. That's a year I always like to start with.
It's a great year.
So the British ordered the port of Boston closed to punish the colonists for the Boston Tea Party. So on this day.
How about that?
They said, you know what? Close the port.
That started a lot of stuff.
Yes.
That didn't really go well for them. 1918 on this day, the Yankees beat the White Sox 5-4. The Sox loaded the bases in the ninth inning, and New York turned a triple play to win the game.
Legendary, 1918, this day. In 1949, KSL Television in Salt Lake City begins broadcasting operations.
How about that, 1949?
We both worked for KSL Television during our careers.
Yeah.
So,
1949. 1961, FM stereo was introduced.
I just thought FM was always
a big
around.
thing.
I didn't realize
that was a big thing.
In 1961, or 1964, the Rolling Stones arrive at Kennedy Airport in New York to begin their first U.S. tour.
How about that? And they're still touring.
Can you think of any band that's had more longevity than, they have just, and still playing.
Still playing.
Unbelievable.
1967 on this day, the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band album is released in the United Kingdom. That was a classic.
Very, very big. 1975. Nolan Ryan tosses his fourth no-hitter as the Angels beat the Orioles 1-0.
June 1st birthdays. On this day in 1801, Brigham Young was born in Whittingham, Vermont.
How about that?
Whittingham with one less T, but how ironic.
Only one T, right?
Yeah.
Not two T.
How ironic to be born in Whittingham, Vermont, Brigham Young.
There you go. In 1926, on this day, Andy Griffith was born. Remember Sheriff Taylor?
America's
Griffith?
sheriff.
He was the sheriff of Mayberry. Mm-hmm. So
1926, Marilyn Monroe was born.
Yeah, my Libby played Marilyn Monroe in a musical, Smash, recently. So in 1937, Morgan Freeman, the great actor, was born on this day.
June 1st, deaths of note. 1968, Helen Keller passed away.
Yeah, Helen Keller. In 2014, Ann B. Davis.
Who's Ann B. Davis?
She was Alice in the Brady Bunch.
Of course she was.
She was
always baking cookies and stuff.
She was the greatest. Yeah. I would ask my mom and dad, why don't we have an Alice? Why don't we ever have an Alice? Everyone should have an Alice.
Then she started, hooking up with Sam the butcher.
Yeah, Sam.
And then that was a whole other story.
It's a whole different thing.
The Wise Guy's inspirational quote of the week tonight is from Brigham Young himself, who said,
"My faith does not lead me to think the Lord will provide us with a roast pig, bread already buttered, etc. He will provide us with the ability to raise the grain.
That's a pioneer attitude right there.
Yeah, it is.
Brigham Young. We thank cornerbacks coach Lewis Walker. He was fantastic.
Yeah, he was awesome.
You can tell why people play hard for him.
Yeah, he's gonna be great. Seems like a great fit too. Yeah. BYU Alumni President Derek Miller, grateful for having him on the show tonight. And
BYU superfan Russ Paulus from Naperville, Illinois. Next week, Jim Evans, Executive Director of America's Freedom Festival at Provo, will be here. Talk about the volunteers needed for all the events coming up and how you can sign up, especially if you're here locally. It'll make it easier that way. Harvey Scott from Redmond will be here to talk about Redmond Night with the Wise Guys.
Yeah, it's going to be big.
And BYU superfan Kathy Habring will be here next week.
Good stuff.
This week, what do you got going on this week?
So I'm kind of done for the week, although I do have...
It's Monday night, you're done for the week?
For broadcasting this week. But I've got crazy schedule this week. But I am having a production meeting this week for a really cool show that we're doing with some of the guys at BYU TV that I'll tell you about next week.
Good. All right. I've got the Deseret News all week, and if you're at Wrigley Field Thursday and Friday and you see us, come say hi.
Are you going to Wrigley?
Yep. Cubs are going to play the A's and the Giants. And I've got an article in the paper today about making the most of today because you could be pitching tomorrow. What does that mean? You can go to Deseret.com and
you have to
read that about.
You always you send me a preview, so it's a great article. You got to read it.
It's a good one. It turned out good.
Hey, can we remind everybody about Redmond Night?
Let's do it.
Let's do this. So Redmond Night, Dave and I are really excited about with the Wise Guys. Coming up in 2 weeks from tonight. We're going to take the show on the road for the first time ever. We invite you to this Redmond Night with the Wise Guys. June 15th, Monday night. We'll broadcast the show from Redmond Heritage Farm, from the farm store on 8th North and Orem. It's the home of Redmond Re-Lyte. We'll have special guests, including Kevin Young and the men's basketball team, plus free tacos, Re-Lyte drinks, prizes, autographs. We're going to have a great time right there in the parking lot from 6 to 8. This will be our first remote show in the history of the Wise Guys. So come make history with us on Redmond Night with the Wise Guys. It's, again, June 15th, Redmond Heritage Farm Store on 8th North in Orem. And remember, when it comes to Redmond Re-Lyte, the secret is in the salt. And if you don't know where that is, if you're on 8th North and you're just heading west from State Street on 800 North in Orem, on the right-hand side, Sonic is there.
It's behind
It's in
Sonic.
that little mall behind Sonic, little strip mall behind Sonic. Beautiful store, great place. And by the way, there's a Re-Lyte flavor that I've never had before, and it's baby grape juice.
Really?
It was so good. I had it the other night with my burger. So,
Baby grape juice.
Yeah, grape juice. So,
Come hang out with us in 2 weeks. It'll be awesome. Stadium of Fire, we remind you to get your tickets for the big show featuring Brad Paisley at stadiumoffire.com. We remind you, Wise Guys is presented by Brady Plus, supplies plus support. Find out more at bradyplus.com.
And by Mountain America Credit Union, empowering dreams for over 80 years. Find out what they can do for you at macu.com.
Our Re-Lyte Athlete of the Week, presented by Redmond, is Jane Hedengren, because she just wins and breaks records.
Oh, she does.
She's going for 2 national championships in 2 weeks. Redmond, Re-Lyte, the secret's in the salt. Learn what it can do for you at redmond.com.
And Wise Guys is distributed by the Deseret News. We're grateful for our relationship with the Des News.
Fun show tonight. Have a great week, everybody. June is here. We're closing in, but let's enjoy June. Enjoy every day of June.
Yeah.
But some really cool things are up ahead.
Patty Edwards' advice always was be in the now.
Be in the now. Live in the moment.
Live in the moment. Relish it. You know, she always would say that.
Have a great week wherever you are around the world. Thanks for joining the Wise Guys. We'll see you next time.